Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahusha HaMashiach, I like to say welcome. Welcome this evening on this special edition of What is Going On with These UFOs? I'm not gonna just listen. This is kind of that continuation with shout out to brother Jacobas and Teo Ministries. And this is gonna be a continuation of that. Um, you know, and I'm gonna tell you this because I don't think a lot of our people really understand decorum, and that's okay. That's okay. But when you're on here, we're discussing we're discussing what's happening. We're discussing the implications of what's happening. We're discussing these things that we need to understand and prepare for. Now, I have my link out here. I'm not listen. You can tell me how you've awoken. Okay? That's great. And I'm going to say if you can't tell me in 30 seconds or less, I'm going to boot you. I think we're okay. Okay, family? I think we're okay. Because this has to be a real conversation. Don't look now. Don't let it get twisted. I do want to be on up here and conversate with the family. But come on, family. Come on, family. The nonsense and stuff has to really it really does have to stop. So if you want to, please feel free to come ahead and join in on the conversation because there's a lot of things that can be said. There's a lot of things that can be honestly extrapolated with this because and here's the thing about our people, we provide a kaleidoscope of thought processes. Shout out to Sister Charlotte that's been on the panel over these last couple of days. She's bringing in that insightful work. Shout out to our family because here's the thing, Sister Charlotte affects. I'm gonna tell you, it's that like that coefficient of contact coefficient, right? How they're trying to do the contact tracers, right? Each person has their network of 500-600 people. That whole type of ordeal. But that's what we're doing. And there's something to bring to the table. It's something to think about. It's something to understand. I know this isn't gonna probably get a lot of play because I know people are gonna be wrapped up in the Super Bowl and what do you? Well, I, yeah, I can we just talk about this later. Y'all realize that there's been balloons, a lot of balloons, not just one or two balloons, a lot of balloons. There's been a couple balloons that they more than likely aren't reporting. These are just the balloons that they're reporting. Let's just get that on out there. Balloons that they are reporting. What about those that they're not? And we would never know until it's too late. How long has there been an indication of balloons being use for any type of surveillance before the real deal. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Yeah, you're right. I'm on here before Monday because this is look. There was supposed to be a real conversation. I'm not taking any away from Tail Ministries. I know the intent. What we intend and what and how things go don't necessarily meet up with reality. But see, these are the things that we have been saying. These are the things we're not saying and we're not speculating this. Our people want us back. The continent wants us back. Why do you think the continent wants us back? Because there's a lot of resources, a whole bunch of resources. What's the old adage? Look, you can be as wealthy as you want to, but gold don't feed you. You can't eat gold and have that gold feed you. Well, I don't know. If they're getting shot, I don't think that kind of think that defeats the purpose of Blue Beam. If they're getting shot out the sky, I think the Blue Beam is supposed to be some sort of a visual graphic. Now, if this thing's getting shot out the sky and then it's landing somewhere, I think that visual graphic is kind of a moot point. Yeah, 24 karat gold is edible, but it ain't gonna give you nutrition. You'll just turn into Goldfinger. So yeah, family. So I have the chat. Um, I have the StreamYard posted in the chat. If y'all want to come on up there, if you're brave enough, if you're gonna say, "Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to spout my Mormon doctrine. I'm not gonna be able to spout my 12 chart doctrine." So here we go. We got somebody stepping up to the plate. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. Hallelujah. Here we go. Brother Elahai Romeo. I'm going to say, brother, if I'm probably messing it up. Maybe, maybe not.
Brother Karis,
Shalom on this Sunday evening.
on this whatever them Christians call it,
Well, it's would it be called the witching hour?
All right. Okay. So I'm more of the silent watcher. Bit of a younger guy compared to everybody else. But I've been, I just want to get everybody's opinion on what I've been paying, attention to just throughout these months, right? So I was noticing around, obviously 400 years is up. And I was noticing in Revelations when it's talking about the white horse, where it says it's going to be like a bow. And I was looking up that word bow, like in the, I think it's the concordance or just like what's the meaning, what it could mean. And it was saying something about like toxon. And, I was like, okay, maybe that could be something with like the vaccine or the scene. Excuse me, I didn't want to get you banned, but I was thinking maybe that might be something where that could be like the start of the white horse, to where now, with the US about to default, where we could be coming into that the third seal, the third horse of the high inflation and stuff like that. And I know that us as Israel is going to be in the wilderness for 3.5 years. And I'm just, just putting stuff together. Are we getting close to the third seal? and we about to be at that 3.5 year point to where we about to be up out of here. Not setting dates, but that's just what I'm, putting together. I just want to get everybody's opinion.
That's a good question.
Right.
That's a good question. Brother Dave, shalom. I'm gonna put all this together. Shalom, brother Dave. I know that you were on the panel for Teu for a little bit, and then you left. I kind of understood why, why you left. I was like, yeah, brother Dave, go ahead, go ahead. And I'll answer brother um, Elihaya, his question.
No, I just wanted to, excuse me. I just wanted to when I saw it was a lot of people going on there, I said, I'm always talking on here all the time, and I'm glad other people were stepping up. So I let them have it because I seen as soon as I shot off, people just started shooting on, which was
Mhm.
cool. The more people we get involved, the better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just looking at this thing the way y'all looking at these UFOs are coming out of the woodwork, and I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, they trying to get their because they were talking about this. This was one of the first things I learned about that they were going to try and push this crap, and I'm like, they're trying to get everybody all together under a UFO invasion, and we got to all be together under one conglomerate to fight the existential threats.
But
Whether they
you know what I'm saying. Think about that. Let's back that on up. All right.
right.
Well, brother Elias question. Shalom, sister Bent. Look, I'm gonna get to you, sister Bent. I know you're fighting that cold that just made its way down here to, to Florida. Um,
Karis, we just walked out. I'm like, man, it's cold.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you feeling it too. You feeling it on your feet. You know, black folks are. Oh, we got that draft on my feet. It's the draft. So yeah, listen, I don't know about anybody else. As soon as I see some folks, some aliens out the sky, I'm leaving. Oh no, we gonna regroup in the motherland. We're gonna regroup in the land that the Most High promised us.
Right.
Where's Jerusalem at? We will think thitherward. Oh, it's time to bounce.
Right.
Father, I don't know how I'm gonna bounce, but you either send a chariot or some pair or some tickets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You Where do I need to go? I don't care if I have to paddle half the way. Look, you know what? Look, I'm gonna be floating on out of here like a Cuban refugee. Look, black folks would be like, we got to get up on out of here. We will be at the ports, just saying, Father, let that ship appear.
That's right.
You- oh, but that's really one of those things that they're gonna set us up with something. I'm a little bit more practical. I think that they would come so over the top with stuff that would be like this generation's Trojan horse,
Right.
right? We ultimately TikTok, YouTube, social media, the crap out of this generation. And while they're on there, all of their all 500 million special forces soldiers were able to go into every single household and slit some throats, and it was over from there. You know,
Mhm. Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's what is it? What is that called? Operation Staring Dummy. You know, oh, Sister Betty, tell me what you think that we have.
Karis, Karis, I just told you this morning that we ain't buying no land here.
No,
No, no, I'm telling you, I'm waiting on you and T.O. them to send up a signal, some type of family signal to let us know, okay, family, it's time. What I wanted to ask you, do we need to get a passport? Or what are we thinking? I don't know. I know we don't know if it's a plane, a train, a boat, a ship, a sailboat, a tugboat. What are we gonna need possibly?
Look, I was thinking that too, but here's the thing: when the deal goes down, folks are going to try and get on the plane no matter what, passport or not. There is actually some countries that you don't have to get a passport to, and I know that those countries usually are in the Caribbean. You may have
Yeah.
to do a quick transfer.
Okay.
You may have to go and do a quick boat ride. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It may not be a couple a simple cut and dry operation, right? If you can get to where you need to go, then you need to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
You know, listen. Think about this. A lot of folks when they left Ukraine, we just saw that as a perfect example.
Absolutely.
They grabbed what they needed to grab, whatever they thought that was in the bank, whatever they needed to switch on over to anything in the euro, whatever they needed to, have any type of a digital currency exchange. And I mean, it's practical like
Yeah.
that, right? They had the Addy, thing. I don't know where that went, and I was highly skeptical of putting my money into that digital currency. But here's the thing: I would be more prone to put something into a digital currency if it was, gold backed, right? If it
Go
was something
back.
that was backed by,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. Well, you
Yeah.
have a digital currency, and that digital currency is based off of what? It's gold. There's a gold currency to it. Now you can exchange your currency for what? For gold bullion. Shoot,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. You know, it's
Yes.
something real.
Yes. And
Or
this.
if you need to travel internationally, then guess what? Then you put that gold reserve back into the digital currency, right? And then you have
Yeah.
your cash proceeds, or your digital proceeds. You know, I don't have. I think
Yeah.
that that's a wonderful idea when you're doing it righteously, right? If you're not doing it
Okay.
righteously for, control, and
Okay.
that's what man wants is control. I mean, think about what did that be? Think about how crazy this is, because I'm gonna get back to this. I know folks are coming on to the chat. Hallelujah! Shout out, brother Asaph, coming from the UK. He's coming from the UK. All right, fam. He's coming from Top Boy Central. Top Boys. Brother Asaph. Hallelujah. And I got to shout out Brother Oral. Brother Oral. Thank you for participating in the chat earlier with Brother Yakoba. Definitely great words and insight that you brought, especially for Europe. Now, let me explain this to you in terms of Europe. Okay. Yes, you're gonna have a lot of black. You're gonna have a lot of racism in Europe. You will have that, but you're not
And
gonna have as much racism there as you do here.
that is true. That is true. But you
So
know what it is it's the blatantness of it. But you're right, because there are some people that are very very kind. Because one instance when I was on the train and um I sit on the train and their mask mandate ended on the 2nd of February. So I get on the train and I'm sitting there, and a lady across on the other side is like, "Excuse me, you need to have a mask." I said, "Excuse me?" It's like, "You need a mask." I said, "I have a medical exemption." And so now I'm perturbed. I'm like, I ride on the plane for like like 16 hours or so, combined the transferring from one plane to the next, and no mask mandate or anything. And I come here and I'm on land, and you're going to tell me about wearing a mask after being on the train
can I
almost
ask you a
24
question?
hours?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Did you have to show any lollipop status? Sister Charlotte coming in.
No, no, no,
Hallelujah. Oh,
nothing
none
at
of that.
all. None of
Oh,
that. No,
oh, look at
no,
that. Hallelujah. Look, do you I mean, but remember last year, remember how people were so hyped up and juiced up on, well, you need to get this, you need to get that. And now here's the funny thing. We don't need any of that mess to travel.
no, we don't. No, no,
Yep,
we don't.
just in time for our departure.
Bingo.
Hallelujah.
So the crazy thing is, after that, I heard her saying something in Deutsch to the conductor that came by, which is very interesting because their conductors, I've ridden train there for over a week, and I only saw a conductor one time. So basically, they have an honor system. You can get caught at some point, you never know, but usually you just get on the train. So it's up to you to actually have your ticket in case somebody come by and ask you, but you rarely ever have someone. My first day, the guy comes, you have a ticket? Sir, you need to have a mask. I said, I have a medical exemption. Oh, can I see it? I said, well, it's private. I'm not supposed to show you. Well, sir, you could just have a regular piece of paper. I just need to see something. So he didn't even look at it. I just showed him the paper and he said, thank you. And so I heard the lady say something else in Deutsch, and then that was it. So I get on the phone to call my cousin to say, "Hey, I'm such and such a stop," and another lady behind her, "Excuse me, this is a quiet cart." And I was like, "What?" Because I didn't even know it was a quiet cart. So I got off the phone. I was like, you guys probably doing this because I'm black, right? And I said it really, really loud.
Let me say something to y'all. Let me say something to y'all. They don't play when it comes to that public transit. You get
Yeah, well,
tears. You
but you
get
know what?
tears. You know what
But
I'm
you know what's
saying?
funny
Like you
though?
gotta like. Did you know
But
that you have like first class and business class like
that I
transaction?
learned. Yes, I,
You
I,
get
I
what I'm
learned that
saying?
very fast. I learned that very fast. But the funny thing is, when I was getting off the train, a lady behind me, she gets up with me. She's like, "Excuse me, I don't want you to think all Germans are like this because we're not like this. We're not all bad people." So I mean, it is a couple of them that are actually nice people out there. But I gotta tell you, man, it was few and far between.
But you also know, look, you're in a place where they're shook. You have to understand. You went there because you had said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and visit such and such." I know that you had. Was it I think a family member had passed away, if I'm not
Yes, it was
mistaken.
a funeral.
Yeah,
It's a funeral. Yes. But
yeah,
but
and
honestly, brother, I'll tell you this: if it wasn't for the funeral, I wouldn't have gone because I was really concerned about getting stuck there. But then I said, what, I'm just gonna leave it in the Most High's hand, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't worry about it anymore. But the funny thing is, coming back, it was a delay, and I missed my connecting flight from New York. But the flight coming back was almost 9 hours long.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Because where'd you have to fly into? You flew in the Frankfurt or
Yes, I did. I flew to
yeah,
Frankfurt. I could have gone to Dusseldorf, but Frankfurt they had more flights and less connection because if I'd have flown to Dusseldorf where I needed to go, they would have had two connecting flights, and I
yeah.
didn't want to go through that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Oh boy, yeah.
But they
You
have
go
nothing
there.
from they have nothing straight from Orlando anymore. Everything is a
Nope.
connection.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but at least you got a chance to travel out of Orlando, and you didn't have to go into like New York, and which is always a pain because
No,
you
I
have.
did. That's the crazy thing.
Oh,
I
that's the
did.
pain. Yeah, that is a
Yes,
pain because you
I,
have to
I had to
grab your
connect with
bags,
JFK. Yeah.
and then you have to walk across the street. You know what I'm you
Oh,
know
I
what
know
I'm
exactly
talking
what you're
about?
saying.
Oh,
Trust
that's
me,
a
they
pain.
lost my sister's bag when we were going there. She
Oh
didn't
yeah.
get her bag until Thursday, like about 4 days before we left it. So she had to buy clothes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then they destroyed my bag, so I had to buy a new bag in Amsterdam.
I know. Oh my goodness. No, that's part of traveling. Look,
Yeah,
I understand. I understand.
I've traveled
You know,
before and never like that though. I mean, that's just crazy. Because
but you,
I've been to Europe before, but I
yeah.
didn't have that experience.
But again, when you went there in the midst of these folks are actively, this is NATO and Russia actively fighting each other.
Yes, you're right because there was a couple of like refugee there that my cousin was pointing out because he's lived there. He's like, yeah, you could tell the Ukrainians. He's like, I bet you them two are Ukrainian.
Yeah,
So yeah, they are
they have a
there.
different demeanor. They carry themselves a little differently. They interact
Yeah,
a little differently. You can tell, like when you deal with like Eastern Europeans.
yeah. It's just different, man. It's just different whites in general because New
Yeah.
York whites versus German whites are just totally different people.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
thankful to the
Different
Most High I
different
made it
branches
back,
of
man.
Ashkenaz, different branches of Japheth
Yes,
and
indeed,
Ashkenaz.
indeed.
And I try to explain this to folks. It's like you can't say all white folks. It's like you can't say that. Like you
No.
gotta understand there were folks that knew Jacob that oppressed us. There were folks
Hmm.
that didn't want to be in the game and said,
Yeah.
nah, leave that mess alone. Because why? Because I understand what comes around goes around. We understand this as a people. You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, I
why
get you.
you never had a lot of Central Asian countries that did what? They didn't participate in any type of slavery. They didn't participate in any type of Arab slavery.
Mm, I see.
Because here's the thing: if we had known what they participated in, we would have said, "Oh, look, Kazakhstan. Oh, look, Kyrgyzstan. Oh, look what Pakistan did." I think, to be honest, for us, if we got there because we ran. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think
We
so?
just want to run and we want to hide. You know how black folks are. I'm gonna run till I can't run anymore, or I feel a little safer here. Didn't mean that we weren't still in fear of our lives. Didn't mean that we still didn't have any type of retribution following. It just meant that those places really did not have that interaction in terms of the disbursement of Judah as other places may have had. And that may have been for a reason.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
why? There had to be some nations that did what? That judged these other nations that dealt with slavery, that dealt in our captivity. That's what the Most High did.
And plus, it was punishment. So.
Exactly. He was going to use other nations to what? To punish those nations. Just as you use those nations to do what? To bring us into captivity. There's always a cycle. You touch us, you're going to get dealt with. And you're not going to get dealt with by us. You're going to get dealt with by other nations. So, if the Most High is using those other nations, listen, let them use them. All right. Hey, listen, I'm not going to demean you because you're doing the Most High's work. I'm just going to stay
Hmm.
out your way. Okay, I'm not going to be rah rah shish kumbah for him, but I'm going to say hallelujah. You're doing the Most High's will, and there you go. So with that, in terms of, and I know you probably couldn't get the sentiment. What was your other family saying in terms of? I know they're talking about the war. I know they're talking about Russia, things of that nature. And you understand from scripture, and I mean you're understanding from prophecy. What did it feel like to be there when you're like, look, we're watching prophecy unfold?
It's something amazing because we were downstairs in the hotel, and they can tell that I'm American, but they don't know that my cousin, he lives there, and he dressed kind of like be boyish a little bit, and so he's with me, and these two Russian, well, he said that they were from the actual the region where the war is, and he heard them speak. He couldn't understand him. He said, "I bet you they talking about us," because he could kind of understand a little bit of it, but they don't speak German, and he was just saying how they looked a certain way and they were acting as like they were actually thumbing their nose up at us. And I said, cuz, don't worry about this, man. We are literally living in prophecy being fulfilled. And I was trying to explain to him, and he knows that we are the chosen people. So I was like, bro, don't even, because he was literally getting upset about it because he could tell they were talking about it. And I was like, cuz, don't worry about it, man. These people are being judged right now, and that's why they're running veer from where they are over here to Germany. So don't even worry about it. So that's what I was trying to encourage him and tell him.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see that perspective on the other side of the world, and you had that opportunity to see it right in the midst of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, now with this new report that came on out, this investigative journalist report of the Nord Stream pipeline that had been somewhat, I don't know what to say, not adjudicated or, um, I don't know, speculated or,
I was wondering if you was going to touch on that.
oh, we're going to touch on that. You know we're going to touch on that. Does anybody want to give their, how they became awakened, story? Because I want to give you that opportunity, and then we're gonna touch into the meat and potatoes. You get what I
Well,
you get?
yeah.
Okay,
I,
and I
I-
know.
I'll give. I'll be really brief with it because I know I've been speaking for a while. So please, guys, forgive
Mhm.
me. But the way I was awakening is I used to listen to Rob Skiba, and I was listening to him once, and I mean, because he went into the whole history of like the flat Earth and everything, because he thought the Earth was round, and then he went to investigate it and found out it is actually flat. And so I kind of was following him, and one day he got on a rant, and he's like, "Let me tell you something. These black people are not the people, okay? They're not the people." And he just went off, and it just turned me off from him. And then I started listening to Watchmen, and Watchmen went into it, and I was like, "Oh wow." Oh my goodness. And so for the first time in my life, I started looking at everything from a different perspective. And I was like, wait a second. Because I think every single member on this panel have asked ourselves at one point, like, why does we have it so bad? Why is things so tough for us? And I used to ask myself that all the time. Why do we have it so bad? Why is it when it's blatant, when someone is running away and you shoot them in the back and they're saying, oh, we have to investigate. We were not sure if the officer was wrong. He felt threatened as the person is running away and he felt threatened. So all these things, it was just really heat at me. And when I see him break it down, and then from there, I kind of stumbled onto to Teo's ministry and Sister Shonda, and it just kept going from there. And so that's how I became awoken, and that probably was that happened probably in 2016 or so is when I became awakened.
All right, thank you, brother Oral. I appreciate that. All right, so now we can concentrate on
Let's get to
because
business.
I said that earlier. I said, look, we're not going to go over, look, this isn't that time. This isn't that time. You can save your memoirs for folks awakening at a different time. We talking about these balloons. We talking
Yeah,
about these UFOs.
we on UFO watch.
Yeah. So I just wanted
Hey,
to
brother
throw that on
Karen.
out there. Yeah.
Oh, real quick. This is
Them
I guess
ships
it's
are coming for the camps.
right. Right.
Oh.
Let them go.
Um, okay, real quick. I heard somebody in Tails panel earlier say, I looked it up, it's actually true. The idol over there in Brazil actually got struck down. Well, it didn't get struck down, but it got hit with lightning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
me.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That picture was shared too.
Yeah.
Someone has shared it. I think it's on the Teo Ministry Lives group. I think that came from you, brother Asaph. And
Yeah,
that it had right on the dome. It
Desert
had right
Boys,
on
you
the
get a
head.
good lick.
I prayed for that, by the way. I did. I prayed for that. So now that I know that it happened, he answered my prayer.
I'm just praying that every single idol and stronghold that our people are under gets destroyed through the mighty and awesome name of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah.
That's what I pray
Amen.
for because our people are under idols of everything. We're idols of Haile Selassie,
Oh
idols
gosh.
of ourselves. We even idolize ourselves. That's the craziest thing.
Hmm.
So we
I
have
don't know
to.
if you know the Christmas thing too.
Yeah.
I think it got a hit 18 months before the lockdown in 2017, and it got hit again this year, a few days ago. So those things
Okay.
are signs.
What do you
Yeah.
think that the big Christmas, the big Christ in Brazil? Are we speaking about still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
it
Oh
get
yeah.
too lick, too good lick.
Some people don't know what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Mm.
Yeah, it got hit. It got two good blows. All I know that
So
I'm
the
talking
big old
about was
Cesar Borgia
Exactly.
statue was getting the 1-2. Oh man. Yeah, the big old Cesar Borgia statue. So
it get buff up good.
oh. So I'm gonna ask you,
UFO watch.
I'm gonna ask you, brother Asaph, what are these stories? When you're hearing that from this is now America, right? This is now mainstream news, right? This is coming on New York Times. and other places. I'm getting hit up with texts and everything. Brother Karras, have you seen Brother Car? You know, what does that look like to you all in the UK on the other side of the pond? Because you know, if you don't understand the relationship is really we're kind of the security guaranteers or guarantors for all things British. And if they see their security guarantors, you know, having problems, these folks they get kind of scared. What what tell me about that, brother George, brother George, brother Asaph.
Well, most people, don't really take note of it that much because, they've got this infallible faith in the United States that it can look after itself. But from my perspective, it's not looking good because it makes America look phenomenally weak.
Hmm.
And also, if America gets taken down, you know that we're not going to put up a fight over here. I don't think the people have a stomach for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw in 2021 before I was ill. I saw some of the British soldiers marching, some of the young guys, and I said these guys look much sicker than 70-year-old people. They can't even put up a good fight against a chicken.
Mm, that's a shame.
Yeah, very unfit. You know, it's Jeremiah 50:51 styly over here. A big empire having soldiers of that quality. It's very, very poor. I think apart from the SBS and the SAS, we got nobody that can do anything over here.
Well, yeah, because you know what actually ends up happening is it's
And the
always
pensioners.
yeah, man. That was actually kind of crazy to see. It's like these folks are 50, 60 years old, still on active duty, and I'm like, if you're on active duty and you're 50, 60 years old, that's retirement age. You retire like literally, really in about your 40s and your 50s. You know, early late 30s, early 40s. That's when you hit that retirement age, and you know, and these folks, I'm like, wow. They're like, yeah, I'm a career. It's like that's what they say.
Brother,
You know, it's just a job. It's a job for them. You know.
Brother
Yeah,
Karras,
they
can I
don't
ask a
kick you out
question?
until you got one leg in the coffin.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah, since you're asking questions about over across the pond, because when we were over there, my sister took a trip to France, and they were literally protesting in the street over the 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 age hike for their retirement, and they were protesting like crazy. And I wanted to see, is that still going on over there in France?
Yeah, it is going on. And part of the problem that they have is that they're not getting that free money from West Africa that they used to get before. So they can't really fill in that gap, you know, to make people live cushy anymore for longer. So they have to plug that hole, and they have to plug it by making people work longer. So the West Africans coming together to halt that is causing a lot of issues. Well, they couldn't live off us forever. The tables are turning.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why they had to get rid of Dr. Chiambora, because she was waking up the masses too quickly. The former African Union president, she was criticizing the way how neocolonialism was working, and I think what she has said has resonated quite a lot. And also, time is up for these nations, and our people are waking up. And since they started to see the diaspora as one people, and they're calling for us to come back because we're the nation builders, it's causing a lot of consternation. because I believe they can't stop us from going back. You know, the ones that have gone back have made significant impacts over there, and whether you believe it or not, we have guys from the United States who are chief and Britain who are chiefs in Ghana and other places and have good political clout in all the countries that we've set foot in, and we're wising the various governments up, and many of the political advisors are ex-African American academics and European free thinkers. So the game is up for the Europeans now, wherever they're based, and they
Let
know
me
it.
let me tell you, my cousin went over there. I said this earlier, this on Teo's channel. He went there for 3 years. Now wound up staying there for 4 years, and right now he has 17 people working a farm for him. And so we have a lot of opportunities. He was telling me about a couple of other opportunities. I'll share. I'm not going to share too much on the panel, but put it like this: Africa is a melting pot, and we'll be foolish if we don't try to start moving towards there right now.
Definitely. And with the technological advantage and organizational and managerial and marketing advantage that we have, not to mention the fact that many of us have been in the services, it will put
Hmm.
Africa in a very powerful stead. Because as soon as we go over to Africa, whether you're from America or from Europe, we all see ourselves as one unit and one having one experience. And that is one of the things which the political elite and sociologists and economists are worried about, because
Hmm.
the way how we used to see one another in the 1980s is, you know, you're an American and I'm British and whatever. You know, back in the 80s, I used to be a session musician, and I couldn't, to be honest with you guys, and I apologize for it, I couldn't stand you guys for 5 minutes. But now things, you know, things are, you know, oral, you know, I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're seeing each other as family, and that is dangerous. And what the unifying thing is that we're unified because of Yahushua HaMashiach and knowing who we are.
But you know,
And
one thing
that is a huge problem.
yeah. The only other thing my cousin was telling me about, and we definitely have to work on it with the Africans, is like he said that they're not very forward thinking, a lot of them, because he was saying, man, I'm from Jamaica. They can do the same thing I'm doing. Why am I doing it? Why am I hiring them? I have 17 people working for me when they are from here. They could do the same thing I do. But for some reason, they'd rather just, and they said another thing is they want to get paid the same day. That's the one another drawback that he says that he runs into is like they want to get
Well,
paid.
that's the law. That's the law.
No, no, no.
That's
You
the
could.
law of Moses.
Well,
You are not supposed to send your worker home without their wage. And then
mm,
there's
well,
another scripture that says that you're not supposed to, if you have it, it's in the Proverbs. If you have it, don't hold on to it, give it.
no, but what he's saying is if they would be more willing to work with him and go for a week or so, he can actually do more, is basically
Oh,
what he's saying. But basically every day when he has somebody work, he has to get up the money to pay them the same day. And also the most important thing is that they should be doing what he's doing for themselves, but they're not.
oh yeah, I understand that. But that whole getting paid the same day that you work, that's biblical. And those
No,
people
no,
have
I hear
had
you.
that
I hear you.
biblical,
Yeah.
yeah, they've had that biblical foundation. They've never lost it. We lost it. They haven't lost it.
Well, it just goes
So,
to show it's another sign of the people. Pretty
yep.
much.
Another thing that you have to bear in mind is that when during slavery they took the leadership out of Africa.
Yes.
They took
Yes.
the best people, they took the best craftsmen, the best doctors, the best lawyers, and turned them into nothing. So they've got no leadership, and they look to leadership from guys who set themselves up as prophets, as politicians, and whatever, and they've got no leadership material over there, whether it's political or religious. So it's Judah's position to go back over to the land and lead,
Yeah,
Mm.
I
which
also
is
think that we always anticipate that these leaders over there are our people. I don't believe that there are people, like, just taking in consideration Nigeria. The Fulanis are not our people. The Hausa are
Oh
not
yeah,
our
certain
people.
yeah, certain tribes are not our peoples. The Hausas, the Fulanis are not our people. Our people are Bantu people. You know,
Well,
for
in
example,
West Africa, they don't consider themselves Bantu, but they're still our people.
well, the
The
Fulanis are not Bantu people. The Hausas are not Bantu people.
Yeah, the Igbo and the Yoruba and the Akan and the Ashanti
The Ashanti are
and
our people.
yeah, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
consider themselves to be Bantu because Bantu, they established that that is just a because not all Bantu are Israelites. It's a what do they call it? It's a language. It's pretty much like the languages. They grouped all the languages, and you have the Nilotic languages, so they just say, oh, these people are Nilotic, but it's because they speak those languages. So when you have the migrations of the Israelites that left East Africa and went throughout, they adapted the languages of the people that they went around. So where you have in West Africa, they don't consider themselves to be Bantu. But you'll have South Africa, you'll have Central Africa, and some people within East Africa, they'll call themselves Bantu because they were a part of the quote unquote Bantu expansion, which a lot of South Africans say that that was them running from different slave trades. You had the Arabic slave trade, you had the transatlantic slave trade. I think it was four different slave trades that had the Bantus on the run, but they're categorized by language. And Bantu is a part of the different Bantu languages. So not all Bantu people or Bantu speaking people are actually Abba's children. And I think that that's where we get a little mixed up because we're calling people that are not our family. Not all Africans are Shemitic, even though it's Shem's land. There's some Hamites, like I know a gentleman, a Igbo gentleman. He did a couple of videos. He doesn't have that many viewers and subscribers, but he did a video and he's like, the Fulani, these are the Assyrians, the same Assyrians that had us captive. And these are trying to take over Nigeria, and they're doing it systematically. And they're getting the Igbo and the Yoruba on their side, and then they're just, how the Americans do it. The Fulanis are doing it the same way. And then in these other nations, just because they got brown skin don't make us up. They'll make them us. And just because they say, oh, we're Bantu, that doesn't make them us either. The Most High
The
is going to
Fulani are
determine.
not, with
Yeah,
respect, the Fulani are not Bantu, and a lot of the Akan now. You've got the Congregation of Theocracy, which is huge in Ghana, and you got the Sefwi, with Ashanti as well, and they're quite huge in West Africa as well. And also some of the Congolese know that they're Judah as well. But the Most High will sort out that mess when He returns.
yeah, he'll handle it. The
Yeah,
Yoruba
He'll
are
handle it when He
Bantu. The
returns.
Yoruba, someone in the chat said
Shalom,
that not all
family.
Yoruba is Israel.
Not all of them.
Shalom,
Some
shalom.
of the Yoruba are Neolithic people.
Well, you
Shalom,
have the
Dave. Karis, how you doing, brother Asaph? This is the first time I've been able to be on a live with you. I've listened to you several times, and I really enjoy your points of view, and I'm definitely with you when it comes to the Most High is going to sort that out, because we as a people, like Karis has been saying for the last week, we are broken. And this slave trade, it was massive. And even here on the continent, these people have been scattered and bunched together just because of their skin color and not because of their origins, their beliefs, their kinship. If you take a really good look at the Fulani and the black Turkish, the Israelites in Turkey, they resemble us more than any African. Any of them, we look more like them than we look like the people in Tanzania or in Ghana or in Kenya. we our features, our skin tones are more like them. Even our height. The people in Tanzania are short. I'm 5'5",
Yeah, but
and
my
I'm taller
my
than most.
my my
I'm
father-in-law is looks like your shoes.
I'm
and
I'm I'm taller
and
than most men here in Tanzania.
yeah, I'm aware of that. But my father-in-law is Ghanaian,
Uh-huh.
and he's darker than the darkest midnight. And
Mhm.
we did a DNA test on him, and he has the same markers that I have.
Mhm.
Are
Now,
you right that the Tanzanian men are really that short?
Yes, I mean there are tall men here. The what are they called?
the pygmies.
No. The really tall men, the
The
warrior guys. I
Maasai,
can't. The
the
Maasai
Maasai.
are here now. The Maasai men are very tall, and even if they're not, most of them wear their traditional robes, but you can tell a Maasai even if he's wearing regular street clothes because he's going to tower over all the other people in Tanzania. The Maasai are the tallest people here, and you can tell they're women. They are also tall. I wouldn't. They're tall, but they don't give me basketball player tall, like the ones that I've been in contact with. I've been around people where I'd be like, "Dang, you tall." You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not like
They're
air
not.
up there tall. Remember that air? Remember air said
They're not that tall. My dad and my brother, my son is even 6 foot. So 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'3", and you might have the occasional taller than that, right? But they are not that basketball player tall. I've met a few basketball players, and golly, it's like you feel like you're in the presence of greatness, and not because of the job that they do, but because they are so massive. So
They're
I
not
don't get
Shaquille
that
O'Neal
feeling,
tall.
huh?
They're not Shaquille O'Neal tall.
No, not at all. They're very quiet people. I haven't gotten a lot of chance to talk with them or anything like that. But the Tanzania has acquired all of their land. They've basically taken it away from them. Maasai was the oldest, culture here that still had their own land and so on and so forth. And the palm colored people came in and said, you know what? We need more hunting ground, and we're going to take your grounds. And that's what they've done. And you see, in Tanzania, you see women working, and I see a lot more women in positions like banks and grocery stores. But here, men do the things that in America we think is a woman's job. So when I've been hearing lately all this talk about the war between the sexes, I am so over it, y'all. The passport bros, independent women like it's a cuss word. I am so over it. When I go get my nails done, there is a black man rubbing on my feet.
Ooh.
When I go get my hair done, there is a black man that does my hair.
Wait, Sister Sharita, you have to qualify that, okay? Qualify that.
Hey, is that a
It,
straight
No,
black
I mean,
man?
no, I didn't look.
Hey, I
No,
just
no,
want to
hold on,
you
know.
know,
look.
Oh,
Sharita,
that's
that one.
Sharita,
that
You knew
that
that
sounded
one.
like a
Sharita say
little
what she
slice of
mean and
heaven.
You
mean
knew
what she
that
say.
one.
Look. Sharita means what she say and say what she mean. If I say it's a sugar boy that's rubbing on my feet, I mean it's a sugar boy that's rubbing on my feet. I'm saying there are black men that do hair, nails, uh, everything, every place, running a hair store. In every aspect, you see men doing everything.
Well, I've heard
The,
that it's a
the,
lot of
the,
money in here in Africa, so I can't be
it's not a
mad.
lot of money in hair in Africa. I
That's what I
my the
was
first
told.
hair. The first hairstyle I got here, it's similar to what I've got now. I get my hair twisted up. If I would go to a beauty, what do you call that? Like a beauty college, they would charge me $25. If I would go to a regular hair salon, it would cost me about $50 for the hairstyle that I get. I paid $13 for my hairstyle here.
Mm.
Well, a
You can
young
afford to
lady.
get
Well,
your
a young lady. I was told what country that was. Yeah, that was Ghana in Accra. She said
Mhm.
that you actually make money actually doing hair there.
I don't see how. Not in comparison to the states. If you braid hair
Well, of
here,
course not. You're not going to get the same kind,
Very,
but
but
very
for
but
the
different.
look,
living, to make a living,
thirteen
I
dollars
believe that's
thirteen
something.
$13 here is about 20,000 T shillings, a little less. Okay, it's not a lot of money. It's not
Yeah,
at
but you said
all.
that your rent, you say your rent is $150. So that's what, 11, 12 heads and the rent is paid?
That's what I'm saying because I mean, she
It's
lived there and she
constant
said
work.
that. Yeah, she said that you make money doing hair there, is what she said.
It's constant
You
work. It's not that you make more money, or it's just that it's constant work. So you're getting a
You
constant
make a
influx of
living, yeah.
money.
but look,
You-
it's no different. I just see that these people work harder to make that same dollar. And what
Correct.
you said about your brother and how um, they should be able to do the same things that he's doing in their country. That's what I'm getting at. They don't have that concept. I sat down and talked with a sister, Josephine. She has a little shop right up the road. She makes chapati, and I met her when I first moved into Bunjubi, and we sat down and we had a long talk with one another the next time we met. And but I wasn't going to stay that day because I was hungry. I had been at work all day and I hadn't had a chance to put my head up to eat a meal, and it's already 5 o'clock. So I was going to go down to Bunjubi and or go to her shop and eat, but she told me she didn't serve food, even though I thought she did. And so what she did was call down to Bunjubi and have food delivered to me so that I could sit and talk with her, right? Another gentleman comes up and he sees me eating, and you could see he's rubbing his belly like, oh, this look good. I'm hungry, right? And Josephine told him, I don't cook food here. And he walked down the ways a little bit. And I said, Josephine, why did you send him away? He said he wanted to eat. I said, Josephine, you could have did the same thing you did for me. Send food up and charge him an extra 2,000 T shillings just for having the food delivered to you. You could have still made money and you didn't have to cook anything. Now that's what she does. She makes money and she has no overhead.
So they don't have a good business sense. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah,
all.
that's
Well,
that's what I keep hearing. That's what I hear.
let me steer this on back because the chat is they're starting to get wild out there. But I wanted to actually understand, and I want you all to understand the part that Africa plays in this. Because if you didn't know, Sister Sharita, she's out in Tanzania. Okay, she's out there in the continent. But guess what else is out there in the continent? All of these different minerals, ores, things that they're digging up, things that they're using, and that they are processing through China. China's getting these materials, and guess what they're doing? They're processing them.
They are. You
Guess
can you can't even
And it's
find a real jewelry maker here. Like,
and they're selling them back to the country
yeah,
at a profit.
well, not only are they selling them back to the country as a profit, but they're getting into these mines, they're getting into these materials that I don't even think the West knows about. You get what I'm saying? They're getting
Right.
materials that I don't think the West even has truly understood the advancements in the amount. of what they're digging up, and it's like China's like we'll take all that mine right there. We'll take all that stuff right there. Because just think about it. They've been there. They've been on
Yeah.
the land, and guess what they do when they're on the land? They're not in the Western mindset. They don't play that Western mindset stuff. A lot of them have started, right? And then when things shut down, then they quickly gain reality. They're like, we ain't gonna do that anymore because they're gonna beat us. They're gonna beat us with sticks. They're gonna run up into our spot.
Mhm.
But if you think about that and think about when they're saying we don't know how, with these sensors are failing us.
The chips.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't know what type of materials that 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 these that the folks on the continent have discovered, and they're like, "Yo, we got something here." Well, don't you
Like that rock we saw. I'm still not convinced it's real, but if it is,
you see what I'm saying, Sister Sharita? Exactly. What other stuff is like that? What are the properties? What can it do? And the thing is like, remember, America thinks that they're number one, they're on top because they think that any little bit of technological advancement and things of that nature, that people are gonna run here and immediately go and tell them. Not to a people you done abused for hundreds of years.
but the thing is that they've been running the same game, the same play
That's
over and over
that's what
again, and
I'm
it's worked
saying.
for them for 400
That's what I'm
years.
saying. So think about it. Think about it. China's like, yo, I got you. Let me see what you got. I got you. Yeah, because I really don't want to see. Like, have you have? There was a man that was trying to talk about real estate investment. This is the other day. I think it was like Evie Anita or something. One of these commentators. It was a
Okay.
white guy. He said, "Oh, we need to go in and we need to invest and look at the resources." And then guess what these folks on that's what these folks on the continent said. They said, "Keep your money. We're not trying. We're done working with you."
I think a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I don't have a whole lot of interaction with Tanzanians. I keep to myself because I know it works for me, right? But when I do get to open up to people and talk to them, their mindset at first is very, they 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 eyes is wide shut, right? But I get a chance to talk to them, and I nudge doors open, and the Most High allows me to nudge some doors open and give some insight. And in months, you see their whole idea about America change. The lights come on. You know somebody is home. They start asking you questions. They start responding to the videos that you send them. So it's not, they don't know, they haven't been exposed, they don't know the channels we know. They're, just like it took me, the Most High opening my eyes to me for me to go on a search to find Dante and Teo and Pastor Darby and all these other people, and some that I no longer listen to, but they all were a part of that journey of my awakening. And I hope that in some little way I'm a part of their awakening, right? I'm part of their awakening story when it comes to their realization. But definitely every day I'm noticing something different. When people tell me they want to go to America, look, I'm gonna break it down for you now. After I tell you what I got to tell you, and you still want to go, deuces, bye.
Yeah, yeah, you've been warned. Exactly. We warned them, but again, look. Also, I mean, we also have to realize that there's the leadership, right? If Tanzania is now, all of a sudden now they got folks, with machetes coming through because there was going to be a wink, wink. There's going to be some terrorist incidents, and then that comes all of a sudden. Look, there was an effort, and people now understand the effort. What I'm trying to say is, these folks, think about this. If they were doing this now, and they're more they're now more it's more blatant, right? It's more opaque.
Well, I
That
think that was sent for us, the African Americans that are here. I don't think it was because I don't see white Americans here. I see Germans,
yeah,
I see Russians,
yeah,
Ukrainians. That message was for the black people here. Like,
I
oh, there's
yeah.
about to be a terrorist attack. Well, I've been terroristically attacked for all of my life in the United States, and I don't go to the mall. I go to the market like all the
Yeah.
other Tanzanians go. So
Well,
let give
well,
it up.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You realize when them passports get scanned, these folks know what they're scanning into. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? Let's
Hmm.
yeah, look. If there's a lot of departures, right? A lot of folks getting into the country. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I look at
When
it. I look at it like this. I look at it like this. The reason behind there is that those are resources that they have not been able to tap into.
exactly,
And these
and
resources are now they're being tapped into. I would still say at a very finite, they haven't tapped into
yeah,
a lot of stuff. But but what it is that they're not being cultivated and they're not being I would say used to their optimized
hmm,
because it's not going over to the west, it's going
right,
over to the east, and I would say going over to China more
yeah.
so.
Yeah, a lot of stuff because Africa as a whole uh, doesn't produce anything,
Well, no,
right? You
they
have,
don't produce anything. So because I'm trying to pull this back in to the
okay,
UFO. I'm trying to pull this back
okay.
into
Oh, okay.
because here's
Let me
yeah,
set up.
yeah. So if you don't if you're not able to identify something because your sensors aren't there to identify it, something is telling me that they have been able to utilize resources that the West has not been able to. Chances are those resources were found in Africa. Africa
There's a
has been
flying ship from Wakanda.
you get yeah, but you get what I'm saying? Look, you get what I'm saying? And so now more than likely that has been right. Well, if I had that as, that first step in that supply chain, well shoot. Hey Russia, tell me what you can do with this. Hey North Korea, tell me what you can do with that. Oh shoot, did you see what we did? Man, we made some hovering stuff. You saw that spaceship Bugatti? Well, we got like 50 of those. You know, you know what I'm saying? You know? Hey, South Africa, you in bricks here. Look, let me show you what we got. Oh, for real? You dug that up in my backyard? For real? Yeah. I mean, but you get what I'm saying? Because remember, all of that stuff, all that technology, the West wouldn't share. And they still won't share with Africa. I mean, you get what I'm telling you?
Right, and they're creating their own stuff. We got the guy that has electricity, can power a television.
Bingo.
Um,
Bingo.
they're not. They're Africa is a whole lot of knots, but they've got some
They're
really
not, but what
good
do they do?
stuff.
What do they
Like,
do?
but
They
they are
improvise.
creators. They just don't know how to manufacture it. There's kids in villages that don't know nothing about nothing building robots.
Exactly.
They don't.
So they
These
have
kids,
so that ingenuity that's there with the
exactly.
resources that's there, then guess what? Well now there's more resources when you look at China. There's more resources when you look at Russia. There's more resources giving it over to North Korea. Because why? Well, they'll give it back.
Right?
It's more of a quid pro
It's
quo.
more reciprocal.
Exactly. So these folks are saying,
Mhm.
look, I won't get a benefit if I give it to them. I'm going to give it to you. That's what I was trying to say. The resources that they're digging up, they're finding probably new materials. They're probably finding new minerals that these folks are fabricating outside of Africa, and and who knows what they're using it for? Who knows
But
what
let
they
me ask you
have?
this though, brother. Let me ask you this: don't you believe that some of these fabrications are actually being influenced by fallen angel tech?
Most all of it is.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
All of it
exactly.
is. There's no question.
Okay,
Yeah,
just checking.
yeah, I think the fallen angel thing. That's yeah, exactly. Because
It's,
as
it's
if you
implemented in all of our lives. There's nothing that at this point we can do about even untangling other than just stop using everything that we use and completely go off grid. I mean, when you look at the book of Enoch, even lipstick is angel technology.
well,
So
but now that angel technology, right? America had angel technology. Let's just realize, Europe had angel technology. You get what I'm saying? Because why? Because there was a gift for them to do what? To be able to destroy. There's a gift for them to be able to destroy. That is their birthright. However, now in this principality, this age where the principality of daughter of Babylon is falling, well, now you have the beast kingdoms coming up. And now the beast kingdoms, they're coming up with what? Their own digital currencies. They're coming up with what? Their own ways of doing things outside of the US dollar. Because why? Because when that goes away, they have to do something. They're going to have other mechanisms. So now think about it. If you're going to get rid of the dollar, then guess what you're going to get rid of? The people. What are you going to get rid of? The government, the nation. And that nation is the grounds of that principality. You don't have a principality. You don't have the people make up the principality.
yeah, because if you
Good,
don't
bad,
have
or
the dollar,
different.
you don't have the commodity anymore, and the commodity were the people.
Exact. Good, bad, or indifferent. The people make up the principality. The people is what look. Oh, I got to sacrifice to what? To to
Mhm.
to my angel, right? My guardian angel. They would always say, "Oh, my guardian angel." No, no, they're sacrificing to their principality and those other minions that are in the principality. Those other diminutive spirits in there. Because why? It's a spiritual thing. We're literally just finding out what principalities meant and how we were
Mhm.
subject to this principality. We didn't understand that. We
Mhm.
just would read, oh, well, the Prince of Persia, and it took Daniel a long time to get an answer from heaven. Oh yeah, because it was very topical. Nobody wanted
Yeah.
to explain. Look, well, then who's our principality that brought us into captivity? You get what I'm saying? If they had to go deep into the principality discussion, then they would have had to explain to us who we were. They would have had to explain to us what that meant that Michael, the Prince of Israel, would be standing up. Because why? Because he's not able to be effective. Because
No,
why?
they couldn't do that. That's why they had the slave Bible. They couldn't teach us anything. They couldn't,
They,
and that way we never asked any questions, and that's how we stayed as blinded as we were for as long as we were.
well, and there's also what? There's also the the issue of the land. Because
Hmm.
when you're away from your land, what doesn't it say? The land mourneth for what, Jerusalem mourneth for her children, right? The land, the
Hmm.
land, the land.
Hmm.
Zion, Zion. Who's the Zion? The people. Jerusalem's what? The land.
And that also adds to a lot of our health problems because we're not on the land.
Bingo,
We're
Yeah.
not touching. We're not touching that dirt over there.
bingo.
Girl, y'all, I done lost 20 pounds since I've been here. I feel healthier. Things in my body has changed. I'm 43 years old, and before I got here, I swore some days I felt like I was 50.
Mm.
But definitely, there has been a change. People are telling me, "Oh, you glowing, Sharita," and this, that, and the other, and it feels good. I don't, I that feeling of that this is home. It's not Tanzania, but this is where the Most High has me. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm disrespecting Africa. They got problems just like we got problems. It's just different problems. And like brother ASAP was saying, did I say that right? It's ASAP, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So, like he was saying before, they took away the builders. When we really start looking at that Bible and reading, and we got brothers teaching us, and you think about slavery, they didn't just take anybody over to America. When they first started colonizing, they sent over prisoners, thieves, and rapists and murderers. And these are the same folks that's running the countries today. They great grandparents and so on and so forth. But they stole a particular people from here. They took the strong ones. They took the builders. They took the people that were intelligent, and they did all these things, right? And they left the worker bee. They took the managers and the executives and the kings and the queens, and they dispersed them all over the four corners of the earth. And when you take the strength of the nation, so to speak, then you got left what is left in Tanzania, that's left in Ghana, where these people that they have more of a worker bee mentality, whereas we had this mentality of all this greatness and all this ideas that we could do, but they stifled everything that we tried to do, and then said, well, you could be anything you want to be. It must be you. It's your limitations. And we bought it hook, line, and sinker. But all the time they was just gaslighting us. And that's part of the awakening that stung me so bad, right? Because I come from I'm a late 70s baby, right? So I was part of the first young kids to get computers and cell phones and pagers. And when my indoctrination was, let's all get along and we working together. This was some years after integration, and everything seems to work right? And you should just go along to get along mentality. No, I didn't experience a whole lot of racism growing up, but I experienced go back to Africa, you African booty scratcher, and being picked on because of the color of my skin, and these little
Heck, I'm
microaggressions.
Jamaican and I was called an African booty scratching, and I'm from Jamaica.
So these little things, but we were raised in that time to just ignore it and go on. It's just part of our imagination. Racism doesn't exist. And I believed it. I really believed it. I wanted to. And it wasn't until 2020 that I was like, y'all lying, and I'm done. I'm done.
You waited until 2022. Well, I gotta tell you. But you know what though? From my experience, I believe it's so sad because they have indoctrinated the Black Americans to be pitted against the islanders and to be pitted against the Africans. So, I mean, honestly, I had it worse by the Black Americans when I first came to America because they were horrible. They were brutal. I got to tell you. I mean, I was in a black area, and I tell you, I was not expecting what I experienced as a kid from, say,
They
from
do that to
12 to
everybody. That's
14.
the initiation process.
Oh my gosh, it was horrible.
If you didn't, if you weren't treated like that, then guess what? That didn't mean that they didn't like you.
It,
They gave you attention. That's what it was. They
Oh,
actually
really? Is
like,
that what it was?
yeah, because
but
black folks,
it
they got
wasn't just
attention, good
you.
attention.
No,
I,
no.
I
If
I'm
you
born
were
and
dark skinned,
bred.
go ahead. If
I'm
you
born and bred in the States, and I was one of those kids where I moved around a lot. Through elementary to senior year, I probably had gone to 24 schools. And can you
Wow.
imagine the new start almost every year, sometimes even 2, 3 times a year, you go into a different school. And I wasn't a military brat, right? So It was just the inconsistency of my parents, right? So you start a new school and you have to go through the whole new school process every time. People testing you and calling you names and doing this. You create a tough skin. By my junior year in high school, my dad was like, we moved and you got to go to a different district. I said, I'm not moving schools no more. Do you know what I had to do to stay here at Northwest? My dad said, well, if you're going to stay, you're going to have to take the bus. I have to get up at 5 o'clock every morning. I got one of them old people's tales. Like I had to go get up 5 o'clock in the morning, take two buses and walk, the whole 9 yards just because I wasn't going to do that. But we are hard on our own. It's how we
No,
get
but
along.
I don't think it's. I think it's because of the whole hatred for each other that we have. I don't think it's so
Exactly.
that we get along. I think it's the indoctrination from like the Willie Lynch letters, just the house slave
It
against the
is.
field slave, and that
It
type
is.
of
Right.
mentality.
The
It
light
is.
skin against the dark skin.
Yes,
It is.
yes,
It
Or if you
is.
yes.
got
It
if you
most
got a
certainly
nice
is.
grade of hair, I'm growing up because I was light skinned with a nice grade of hair. So I got hated on, just because of the length and the texture of my hair. And I'm like, yo,
Well,
man,
they
y'all
will
rotten.
find anything. It's because I talk like I'm white. So,
It's no such thing. You just speak
Dave, I would
you
have
just
hated
speak the
on you
language the
hard.
way.
I would have
I
hated
think
on
you
you
just speak
hard
the
because I had
language.
the pointy hair. You know what I'm saying? I had my waves are hard to get. I was
Dude, I'm telling you, I was constantly fighting.
That's
Constantly fighting.
you
I
got
know
smooth
exactly what you
hair.
mean.
You got that
The
smooth
the
hair.
light skin syndrome thing is like, and then they test you because you're the light skin kid, the one light skin
Right.
kid.
Oh, you,
So
you can't
they
fight.
picking
Well, they
on you.
found
Oh
exactly. They
yeah.
found out the hard way. I done stomp a lot of brothers into the ground. And they started it first. Hey, come on with it. I got a complex after that. And I ain't let that
we just
complex go till I got
we
older.
just found anything to put each other down. I'm not light skinned. I'm not dark skinned. It was the way I talked. Oh, you think you cute? Just
Right.
anything,
Right.
anything. And
Ego
we're
Right.
ain't the
still doing
problem.
it. We're still doing it. Whether we know it or not, subconsciously, we still judge. Like Kara, Kara's been telling us about ourselves and how we are broken. We are, and that healing thing is real. And I'm not gonna tell y'all Sharita's all healed up, but I'm telling you, I've gotten to go through a process of that healing process, and it hurts to think about the things that you've done to other people. That repenting stage is never going to be over because there is so much that you'll just that I randomly think about, and I'll break down and be like, oh Lord, please forgive me for this and please forgive me for that and this that and the third. But at
So
least
now I want to ask a question, Karison. In terms of the UFO, you started out with that. And I think sometimes we're going a little too far off topic. In terms of this UFO, I mean, what exactly are you hearing about it?
I'm just hearing the same thing that you all have heard, but I mean,
You sound far away.
oh, can you hear me?
We can hear
How's
you, but
that?
you just sound a little far away.
I think somebody's. I'm hearing like a
Somebody's
piano in the
playing a
back.
piano.
Was that you, Dave?
No, that
No, it's not
piano is
me.
the piano is my daughter in the background in
Okay.
the other room.
All right. That's probably why it sounds so far away. You trying to play hot crossbones, and can't be hearing me. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody. That was everybody's first piano lesson. Let's play some hot crossbones. So, no, no. I look at it like this. Warfare is all about. Look, someone was juiced up to go to war. Someone was juiced up to go to war. And
Uh-huh.
I look at it like it was kind of the wrong the production. Someone was trying to have a production. Let me get the B Max in there. Shalom, shalom to the McCaffreys. Hallelujah.
Hey,
And,
shalom,
What's up,
and,
shalom.
family?
and
Yo,
I'm glad that you are you
DJ.
came in here because this is something that is down your alleys, DJ and Brandy. It's like this. There's technology, right? but we don't know that technology, and then we're like quick to say, "Oh, we can go on in here, we can fight these people because our technology is the best." And this is the thing: I think they have far superior technology than us, far more than we can even comprehend or
and and,
imagine.
and now also with technology, they have the numbers, right?
The
These other
people,
nations
yeah.
have the numbers. Hold on one second, buddy. Okay, our son is playing piano right now too. But yeah, I think I saw that. I don't know if we just got through eating dinner, so I came out and came back in. So I don't know if are you speaking about Russia or China or everyone that's coming against Babylon right now.
We talking about everyone because we don't know
Okay,
where the balloons are coming from.
right. And I
We
wanted
come
to
from
say this.
Cuba.
Right, right.
Let me stop saying that because I may be saying something and then like there's something coming up, you know.
But you know what's
It's us. We're doing it. It's our
right.
fault. It's Israelites' fault.
You know what's funny though? We're in Michigan, and I literally just checked the news, and an hour ago they said they shot something down over Michigan.
Time to move now.
Right.
Right,
So I'm
right.
like, and we're
Get in
sitting
that van right now, DJ. Get
Yeah,
it gassed up.
but it wasn't a balloon though.
right. And we're in the kitchen discussing like we're like, okay, if an EMP hits, when you're at work tomorrow, like, are you seriously like, how are you putting on them skates, right? Like we're so serious.
Because
Right
I got some roller skates in the back right now. Because I've been roller skating for about 20 years, so I mean I'm pretty comfortable on skates.
Right. I'm like,
If an EMP hits and the computer system in my van shuts down, I'm gonna just hop on them skates and just.
Listen, put a container of paint in there too. So if you had to be rolling down the street, you got wet paint and skates. Ain't nobody gonna touch you. You got wet paint and skates.
Right. Spray that. Hey man, get back.
Right. I wanted to speak on that dark skin, light skin situation real quick too. We just popped in and heard if it's okay. So, talking about how, us being comfortable with ourselves. When I first met my husband, hold on one second, buddy. When I first met my husband, can you get the charger, honey? Please. We were just working together, like, on music and stuff, and he never even so much as like batted an eye at me, right? And I'm like, he was the first like man I was had ever been around that didn't show some type of interest. I mean, not just, and it's nothing saying anything about me, what I mean, like I'm anything special, but I'm just saying, like, typically, when you're a female and you're around men, typically they might show some interest, but he not so much as look my way. And I'm like, in that way, we were just really good friends. And I'm like, oh, he must not like dark skinned females. Okay, then. And yeah. Well, he had a girlfriend at the time, and she was super light skinned. And but they had broken up shortly after we had started working together. But I saw who he was dating. And after they broke up, I was like, okay, that's his thing. Okay. So he must think I'm ugly or something. And then fast forward, and we have a house full of children. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Right.
We automatically think, we have those thoughts about ourselves or about others, in the nation. You know what I mean? We have separated ourselves, in regards to skin tone and such. But
right.
Well, that's
I don't think it's as bad nowadays as it was when I was a kid. You figure I'm pushing 60 years old, man. It was rough back then.
Okay.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
The 80s, the early 80s, oh
Man,
it was
rough.
horrible, man. Rough.
And it's just a continuation of the Jim Crow, mentality that
Willie Lynch
and the Willie Lynch, who they tried to question if he even existed because of the effectiveness of his tactics. They tried to write him off as being a myth,
Right.
but still use the things that he wrote that in that letter that he sent to the slave owners in the Americas, I believe. And you have to divide. If you have a powerful, people, you have to divide them. And that division has existed, even down to this very moment, where some people, and like you said, it was even bad. I grew up in the 90s, and there was still a strong light skin, dark skin, like kind of paradigm,
Right.
that we saw ourselves through,
Right.
and and it's we're just trying to make the effort to depart from that mentality. But yeah, I was listening into when you mentioned that, I thought that was interesting because it existed when I was a kid. Probably
Hmm.
if y'all are older than me, I'm 35. If y'all, obviously y'all seen it before I was born. That
Right.
these things still exist.
Right.
That's yep. So our 2 cents.
Yeah,
It was tough times then. I mean, I think, especially now, I think things are a lot better now,
yeah, I think so.
as far as we as a people, coming together. With not being um so hyped on skin color or hair or something like or anything like that. It's just I'm just glad that we living in a time that we are, right now. And it seems like everything's coming together. Thank and praise God for that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never
but
had an issue with the light skin, dark skin thing. I guess it's because I'm light skinned. Now I actually want more melanin.
isn't that crazy? It's like in our family, like my brother is darker than me. I'm light. I'm light skinned. My mom is light skinned, but my dad he's a shade that's darker than me. And then I have, on cousins that are from lightest of the light to darkest of the dark. That's just how our people are. And they use that because here's the thing. We do have that pigmentation. That's just all around us, right? I mean,
Hmm.
and they don't know what to really do because they don't really have shades like that. And that's I think that kind of frustrates them because it's like, well, how can you be that dark and how can you be that light all in one family? You
And
know,
and I'm sorry. The funny thing is, as light as I am, I've only gotten sunburned one time. I've only gotten sunburned one time, and I mean, I'm from Jamaica. You're out there in the sun at the beach all day, no sunblock or anything. It's like the first time I heard about sunblock and all that stuff is when I came to America. So that says something because even though I'm light, I have a lot of pigmentation in my skin because I never get sunburned.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, melanin is melanin. Melanin gets dark, and melanin can get light. And people are like, "Are you black?" And it's like, "Yeah, I still got melanin." You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
see, I think a lot of our folks, we don't want to, we've gotten so used to criticizing ourselves for the way that the Most High made us, and it's like, well, he made me to do what? To survive. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? We're having this conversation because we have been made to survive.
Right.
As a people, we tend to understand we can just lie to ourselves, but when them balloons go up and they stay up, this isn't a conversation that we just had last week. You know what I'm saying? Remember, this is like now 8, 9 days counting. We're into
Right.
this thing. And
Right.
I had said this. I said, this ain't gonna be the last of the balloons. 3 days later, I'm
Yep.
like, dang.
More
Yep.
balloons.
Yep.
I'm
But
like,
what's interesting is they called the first one that they shot down a balloon, but now they're calling everything else unidentified objects, right? And
yeah.
so they're not specifying exactly what it is. So to me, obviously, if it was a balloon, they would say, hey, these are balloons. But apparently it must be something different because they'll give like the what size it is, like, oh, it's a size of a car or a size of a bus, but it's an unidentified object. So
No,
that's
they
really
say it's a
suspicious.
cylinder. Uh-oh. They said it was a cylinder.
Right.
And all I
Right. They
can think of is like a missile or something like that. It's like you did a missile just come over and you shot it down? What's going on?
no, from what they're saying, these things are UFOs. That's what they're looking, unidentified flying objects. They're saying they're engaging UFOs.
Well, now that makes all the sense in the world now that they released all those files about UFOs and unredacted stuff about the UFOs in the last, or was it 2 years?
Hmm.
No, it was in the middle of the pandemic. It was like everybody around me
Right.
didn't catch the fact that they admitted to there being UFOs.
Right.
Like when everybody was at their craziest. They was like, "Yep, and there's UFOs. Now what you gonna do about it?"
Yeah, they dropped it real quick.
They did. And look, DJ said they dropped it real quick.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
exactly.
Don't
That's
you
how it
find it
was.
funny that the head of the European Union, Jens Stoltenberg, says he's standing down and he's not running for another term as leader of the European Union?
I wonder why they did that. I wonder why he did that. You know, this is the whole thing with that pipeline stuff. There's some veracity to reporting. You get what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
There's some veracity to it. When you have leaders now, they're trying to disassociate themselves. Oh,
Right.
not me. I didn't do it. Not me.
Because he
And then,
knows the proverbial, you know what's about to hit the fan. He don't want
oh
to be a
yeah,
part of it.
oh yeah, everybody's shutting down. Who wants to be
It's,
leader?
it's,
Not
it's,
me.
it's the same reason
His
why they
announcement came
in
just yesterday.
February, the first AI robot is going to defend a defendant. They want the whole courtroom to be robots so that they can pretend like there's it's just artificial technology. There's no people behind the judgment and the sentencing that they hand out. They truly want their hand hidden.
Hmm. Yeah, let's do a robot behind there. We're gonna have robots doing summary judgment killings when when martial law is invoked. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, nobody's falling for that trick. Nobody's falling for that nonsense. I think we've been around the block a time or two for our folks. We understand this, and because we understand this, we can articulate it. And when we can articulate, we can explain these things in clarity. And when you can explain things in clarity, guess what? It blows up all their plans. But think about this. But think about that. And it's like, well, no. Think about this. They
Yeah, but
hate
they're
when you.
gonna do what they always do, and they're gonna gaslight and make you think like you the crazy one.
Well,
See, they've been
and that's
doing.
the whole thing. They can't gaslight. That's the problem that they're running into now. They can't
And
gaslight on this. On look, they think that they're going to try and gaslight us and rev us up on these balloons. No, then the balloons
no, you
started
see
coming.
what's and Brother Karras, we have to remember because we're now in the awakening, all the things that they were able to get away with in the past, they're no longer going to be able to get away with.
So
Right.
they have to keep going one step further, and that's what all this stuff has been about. The COVID, the dropping the bomb about UFOs and all this stuff, and that's why there's something in the news every week because what they've done is not working the way it used to be, so it has to get escalated, just like any movie that they make. Oh, to get you more hooked and addicted to it, they need to up your dosage so that you'll believe them, so you'll
Yeah,
comply.
yeah, but this is all a part of their game plan. This was all gamed years ago. What they're doing now is implementing their plan for a one
But
world
they have to
order.
rev it up because we're seeing the streams.
Right.
And well, you need to believe us, and I'm gonna work that much harder for you to be convinced. Like 9/11, we bought that one hook, line, and sinker.
Right.
Most
I'm
of us
sorry,
was like,
I
yeah,
didn't buy it.
kill them all.
I was in New York. I didn't buy it when I saw it. I mean, I bought it at first, but when I actually stopped and thought about it, because I was in Midtown when I saw the other one come straight down, and I've been a big documentary fan. And I thought, wow, it's a good thing it fell straight down. But then I said, wait a second, how is it that it fell straight down? So
But that's the point. Not everybody had, most of us didn't have the awareness to look up, to look into. I'm always at awe with how they got me, right? I had
Mhm.
2 kids. All I can do is put my head down and keep a job. You don't have time to research. You don't have time to look into, pay attention. It's just, okay, well, that's their business. I got to stay over here in my lane and do my thing. And that's how they get a lot of us. They keep you occupied with the dumbest things and then the mundanest things. And then you just have to work all your life. You don't have time to.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, we're not falling for the narrative that they're pushing. This is all a part of their plan. Like they talking about UFOs and aliens. This is all the stuff that they concocted up years ago that they were going to try and spring on us. In order to accomplish a one world government, you have to bring out a world threat.
Yeah, yeah,
Problem,
exactly.
reaction, solution. That's the Hungarian dialect.
Yeah,
So this is all a part of what they're doing. They're changing the court systems and all the stuff that's going on, but this is not meant for us. It's meant for them. See, they didn't already did it to us. So now we getting pulled out of it. So everything that they're putting together now is for them. It's for their
It has to
demise.
be. It
well,
has to be because at 6 years, in the sixth grade, I swore I couldn't be no slave. Y'all got me all the way messed up.
Me
You gonna
too.
have to kill Sharita. I'm not gonna do it.
the saddest thing is in this generation's like this is the fall generation, and you could tell this is the generation that they set up for the fall. All I can tell is these folks are easy pickings for captivity.
Yep.
And if I can see that, then guess what? I know they see it.
Right.
I know they see it. Look, shout out to Minister Yacoba and what he was bringing in with Zechariah chapter 1 today, and how that breakdown was going, where it would be Russia and that conglomeration bringing back the silver and the gold for us, bringing back the wealth for us. Well, the thing is, shout out to Sister Charlotte for bringing up that revelation on Sister E's channel yesterday of 800,000 tons of gold.
Hallelujah.
Hey,
I'm,
did
I'm,
anybody figure out what's that per person?
yeah, I
It's
did it.
about 200,000. I did the math.
I
But
It's two.
didn't. What was it?
It's
That's
two
not
hundred
enough.
thousand
That's
per
not enough.
person.
Well, I did a rough estimate. I was like, okay, in
no,
total, how much do we?
okay, I did the calculations. Let me just
Okay,
say this thing. I did the calculations.
yeah.
So 1 ton, 1 pound of gold equals $22,372. 22,000 for 1 pound, not 1 ounce. One
Now
pound.
that's today's prices, right?
That's today's prices.
Now, as soon as the dollar tanks, gold is going to shoot up through the roof. But go
The
ahead.
roof, the roof. It'll be incalculable, right?
Yeah.
So now I did that. Now what's that per ton? What's a ton of gold? Right, a ton of gold at $22,372. So that times 2,000 was $44.7 billion, I think.
Man.
Now times that by 800,000. By 800,000, that was like I think it was like a septillion number. It was something crazy like that. The chances, bottom line is, family, with 60 million people coming from the U.S., we'd be like half a trillionaires.
Hey, Harry, if you listening, I know you drive trucks. Can
There's
you run me my gold when y'all get here?
3,300 tons over here as well.
Yeah, yeah. So add in the UK's total because ain't that many black folks on over there. Yeah, we're gonna be about half $1 trillion.
But brother Karis, I had a big number because
Is
a
that
lot
per
of people in
person?
Latin America. You know what I'm saying?
How
Oh, you
A
many?
did
lot of
How
Latin
many?
people.
America. Oh, they got their own gold. No, I'm talking about the
Oh,
U.S.
They got their own gold.
Yeah, no, you all right. They all right. They got their own goal. I'm talking about the U.S. We
yeah.
good.
They got some reserves.
Yeah. No, we good. We good. We
So,
talking
brother
about all
Karras, that is per person. That half a trillion
$596 million
per
Wow.
Didn't
person.
the Most High
Huh?
say we would be the wealthiest?
per person.
The wealthiest?
Everybody's
Wow.
a Bill Gates. Everybody here, Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
but
you
then it
asked me
becomes
where
hard.
was that gold? You
Oh, I
asked me
don't know
where
where
was
the
that
gold is
gold?
at. I don't know where the
He
gold's at.
said the Federal Reserves.
No, they
But
didn't
we know
empty
that
that
No,
out. They
they
got
done
rid of
emptied
it.
that out. That
That's
place is
gone.
empty.
building.
Yeah, that's gone. That's gone.
Yeah, we know it's
They
not in
done
the
moved that.
buildings, but they still control it and they still hold it.
They
I don't even
still
think
They
do.
it's
give
worth
you
trying.
no Fort Knox. They give you the illusion that something valuable is in Fort Knox, but if you're going there, I'm pretty sure it's no whole bunch of gold in there anymore.
Yeah, I don't even
You know,
think
the
it's worth
rumor
counting.
was that actually China had the U.S. gold reserve.
Well, that would
And
be
that was, I
stupid.
don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I heard that rumor. But,
Probably do.
it's no
I
telling
wouldn't
what
doubt it.
they've done with it because I can never understand why they took all the jobs and sent them to China in the first place.
That
How
was
do you
so
take from your
you
country?
and I. They did that. All right. So in the 1960s, we had what, the civil rights movement. Then in the 1970s, our income went up. This is
Mhm.
what's her name? Gates Holder did this whole thing. So in the 70s, our incomes went up. In order to keep capitalism alive, you need a
Cla-
slave wage
Slave
class.
class.
class of people. So in
Right.
order to get that, you had to go to where the servants lived, those that were deemed to be servants of servants. And the only ones that were still in that category were the Sinites.
Mhm.
So the Sinites were the ones that were going to go and work for slave wages and make all
Okay.
the world products. They were the merchants. Well, not the merchants, sorry. But yeah, they were the manufacturers. They're the servants of servants, and they served the darn world with all of their manufacturing. And that was the way that capitalism was allowed to stay alive. But now it
Mhm.
is falling. China is no more. China's like, nope, not anymore. You
Yep.
are going to be our slave class. We have built cities for you people to live
Yep.
in so that you can come over here and manufacture all this stuff because we're not going to be the servants anymore. You're going to be the servants.
Yeah, and then I think the straw for China was them saying that it was the Wuhan virus, because we see Fauci was in the mix, and if China was involved with it, was only on the behest of America to do what they did, and then I think they 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 implemented biological warfare on them people because China is still trying to recover, right? I think they was the first, they was ground zero. And then you're gonna go around and tell everybody it was our fault when you were the one over here building the bioweapon.
I say
Yeah,
both of their
and a
hands
lot
are
of
dirty.
their factories they built the bioweapons in were over in where we over there now in Crimea.
Mhm.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
in Ukraine.
That's why
But the
all
thing
of
about
that started. Putin found out what they were doing and went in there. That was the reason why the invasion into Crimea was to stop all this stuff that was going on over there in those level 4 labs.
Yep. But the thing about China and what's happening with it now, either they put it on their own people so they can kill off the old people. They were having pension issues. Like it's a whole lot of different reasons as to why they just let it go loose. Like they went from zero COVID to everybody's free, go fly, and then you just had everybody getting sick. And then a lot of millions of people are dying, just millions per day, just dying. But China don't look at their people as people. They're not like Russia.
No, they're
Russia
not.
was doing those drills to
They
get those
started to steal
dinosaur
their
bunkers.
money. They closed up the bank so they couldn't
Yeah,
get
they
their
did.
money.
They
Yep.
did.
Mhm.
They were doing all kinds of evil stuff to them people.
Because they were
Now,
getting ready for war. They were
Yep.
taking
wow,
these factories and changing the factories
wow.
from making all different types of stuff to making things for war. So these factories, they say, oh, the factories are closed because the lakes are dried up. Nope, those factories were now making things for war.
Yep.
Mhm.
And now they have reserves, right? They just called up reserves 18 and older, right? Of like
Yep,
how many
yep.
million? Like
And now,
200, 200
and now
million or
they're elderly.
something like that.
Their
It's something
elderly are
crazy.
all
It's some crazy
dead.
number.
Well, if you think about it, there's 300 or what 30 million or so in this nation, in this country as a whole. But if China's calling up 200 million, I mean that's almost the total number of population. It's 200 million just for the military, right?
Well,
Okay.
no. Think about this. You don't have any type of fighting age, folks. 200 out of 300 million, 330 million. You probably have like maybe 50 or
Yeah,
60
it's
million
done.
of fighting age because the majority of they said the majority of this nation's population is older folks, like 50 and older.
The baby boomers are still around.
Yeah, 50 and older. I'm like, man, and that's why this economy can't sustain itself. You don't have folks to underpin. It should be a pyramid, not an inverted pyramid, right? If you're getting spun like a top, guess what? The you're like a fat person with thin legs.
Only a matter of time before
200-pound
you
fat
topple
person
over.
with thin legs.
What?
Exactly.
Only a matter of time
You
before that inverted pyramid topples over.
Right.
exactly.
And all the people got weakened by the jab. Let me tell you something. The deep
There you go.
state is working with China in order to take down America. They've
Yep.
been working with China in order to take down America. So everything that they're doing right now is America's been sold out years ago. They just coming to collect on it.
Yep. And what boggles my mind is the delusion that this country is under when they say, "Oh, no one can beat America, or no one can stop us, or we're the greatest country, we have the strongest military," but you don't even have the numbers to even
No.
fight these people. These people could win off of sheer numbers, right?
Yeah, sheer
Right.
force.
And then they have the technology, and then they have the military equipment, and then
Right.
North Korea is pulling out enough missiles to level this place, and then on top of that, but it's the delusion is so strong, it confuses me. Like I just can't believe no one's operating in reality and going, wait a minute, if we go up against one of these nations, we're in trouble. If we go up against two, we're toast. You know what I mean? So that
Right.
delusion
And
is
we're it's the yeah, exactly. What did it say? We just read this in Isaiah 66, right? He will send a strong delusion amongst them,
yes,
and he sent
yes.
one that's big. Look, they ate that thing. They ate that delusion,
Hmm.
hook,
Hmm.
line, and sinker, and that's
Yep.
all they can do. They sold out on it, and all we can do is just say, "Look, y'all done sold out. All you look when it comes here, if you see my back, you better try and chase after me, because I'm gonna be moving. I'm gonna be hauling."
And not only
Okay,
that, America can't win a war without black people. They
without
can't.
black
And we're
people.
not going to be fighting this war with them. Their goose is
Dave,
cooked.
Dave, say that again for the people in the back.
They
Wait a
cannot win a war without black people. Their goose is cooked.
Some brother Dave, I was just reading. I'm going through the word with my 11-year old, and we were just sitting outside today reading about how Laban did Jacob and everything, right? And how Laban was like, "Hey, Jacob was like, look, I'm ready to go. Give me my wives, or I want to go back to my home, and Laban's like, Terry here, Terry. He said, because I've noticed that uh, the Most High blesses me because of you, right? And so the same thing that you just said, they can't win without us. If we are not here, this place will not. We are holding this place up, right? And we know
Mhm.
this. And so if we are not here, just like Laban was afraid that if Jacob left, that he wouldn't be as blessed as he had been,
Right.
since Jacob was there. Well, same thing. We are Jacob, right? So if we
Right.
leave, then this place literally it falls, it falls apart. So no, they
It's
can't win a
open
war.
season.
Well,
Yeah.
look at the Civil War. It's only the only drawback is back then in the Civil War they duped us. And because they duped us, they got away with all that power and blessing. But this time around, the Most High is on our side, so it's not going to be the same
And
outcome.
not just that word, but with China and the Japanese, we was there too. If it, but they'll give us no credit for it. But they like you said, they made us promises of freedom. They made us promises of land and all this honor and all this equalness, and then never fell through on it. So, I feel sorry for any black man or woman or child that says, uh, I'm going to help America at this point, because
The breaker of the breaker
they've
of
showed us,
truce is
they've showed
no
us their time and time again. It is
nobody break
rotten to
truce
the
like
core.
these people do. They constantly break their truce every single time.
Right. Exactly. That's the history of America. They constantly breaking treaties.
Yeah, but now we're at the point right now where you have random things flying over this country, right? This is see, and this is what I talk about, the delusion. Like, okay, spy balloons, and why isn't this country freaking out, right? And everybody is just so asleep. Like, what are you doing for Super Bowl on Sunday? Like, what do you mean? There's stuff flying, around in the sky, and then now we have the succession of more things, flying around in the sky and then being shot down. Okay, so that thing that just appeared over Michigan, I shared the news clip on the Teo Ministries Facebook page. They just shot that down like an hour ago. Okay, so this is the fourth thing they've shot down in the last few days. Okay, so this is going to continue until, like I always stress, the lights go out. I think the lights are about to go out. I really do. And so it's just, you think people would be freaking out right now, but I guess that delusion is so strong that people just
It
think that
is. They don't
that
think anything's wrong.
they don't
They
think anything
seeing
happened to this place. I sit as the queen and am no widow, right? I always say that because that's the arrogance, even when you got
they
stuff
don't
in
see
your airspace, so
they don't see anything wrong with the U.S. using missiles or whatever they're using to knock this stuff down. It's like they're watching TV,
right.
like it's just a bunch of acting going on, or whatever. They're not connecting any dots. I'm putting in the chat. Don't this look like wood to y'all? No response. It's like I never even typed it.
Yep, but it does to what somebody that has the eyes to see. I mean, obviously, if it's like somebody walking around in your front yard, and you're like, who is this person in my front yard? The next thing you know, somebody else is in your front yard. The next thing you know, somebody else is in your front. All right, now, who are these
What's
people?
going
Look, I'm
on
gonna go
outside?
outside to see who these people are. The people in this nation are just like, well, I mean, whatever. Okay, okay then.
But that's what they've conditioned us to be. Just be.
Right.
Uh, if they gay, whatever, that's their business. Let them do what they're going to do. It's free love. It's respecting each other's whatever they want to be. It's just the air balloon. No big deal. It's fine. Nothing's
And
gonna
you
happen.
and you know what's funny? Right now, majority of our people are now getting ready, settled in for the Super Bowl, and they're
Oh
getting
yeah.
ready to be lulled to sleep. And they're gonna watch the pagan halftime show and everything, and everybody's gonna be talking about how wonderful the show is, and they don't see the hidden messages behind it. And that's
No,
the
no,
a
Yep.
big sad truth about getting ready to happen.
Yep.
It's so easy to just like lull us to sleep because we
and
want
it's
to be
not
entertained.
when it and has anybody heard about this Beyonce concert? I don't have any idea when it's about to go. Their tickets are the nosebleed seats are $1,000, twenty thousand
Wow.
dollars for a floor seat.
That's so
To go
ridiculous.
watch
Talk
that
about a
witch.
strong delusion.
Oh,
Talk
watch
about
the
a
witch.
strong
Yeah.
delusion. Wow.
Yeah, no, all praise to the Most High that we see that the pop off is about to happen, and therefore our birth, and therefore our exodus out of here. So I'm excited. I'm just ready for the like. Let's let the lights go out. Let whatever's going to happen. Let's do this. So
I'm kind of with you on that one, sis. I'm with you on that one.
can we like come on? And the Most High is moving it. I mean, it's happening so fast, right? And so I'm ready. I'm ready because we're we're a step away from our redemption. So we're not even a step away. We're a big toe away. You about to lean, step on something. We're literally like that close. So
Yo, can you imagine the look on their faces when they say, we finally got these blacks to leave. Now we're free of them. And as we're leaving, then China, Russia, and everybody else is coming on the shores and like, oh my God.
that sounds like a
Get
movie.
those blacks back in here. Get those blacks back in.
Nah, we going. Y'all wanted us to listen.
Thank
All
you.
the time I go into the forums, and I'm constantly listening to them talking about us and point out our crimes and our indiscretions and everything. And everything is the black man's fault. It's them.
Uh-huh.
They always. I don't know where they get this that we're always entitled all the time. They're so entitled. Really? That's how delusional they are. Well, you know what? Your day is at hand. We get ready to leave here. Y'all can have this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I just want to just remember the look on their faces, as we're leaving here. They're giving us the finger and we're
Now
saying
remember,
goodbye.
you ain't gonna be able to see the look on their face through the tears in your own eye. He said we would be leaving out of here pretty doggone sad about things. So as much as I want to see this day come, there's a lot
But
that
you know
comes
the
with it
scripture says
every
that
day.
they're going to grab hold of us.
Yep, 10, right?
One,
And
ten
and
of
I
them is going to grab hold of us.
Listen,
right.
I'm making up porcupine costumes for anybody out there. So they can grab all they want to. They're gonna get stuck.
You're gonna have a you're gonna have a
Costumes
you're
and
gonna make a Freddy Krueger.
anti-captivity
You're gonna make
spray.
a black Freddy Krueger outfit.
Oh my
It's gonna be
goodness.
nothing but long behind razor blades.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
when they
But I'm not convinced that the crying. I have not, from what I read in the scriptures, I am not convinced that the crying is through sadness, because the scriptures talk about our hearts being enlarged because the Gentiles are coming to our brightness, and how we will again rejoice in song and dance. And it seems to me, I feel like, because when I think about getting ready to leave, I tear, like I get emotional out of pure joy. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
I'm not convinced that the crying that is occurring is because we are saddened by having to leave, or we're saddened because the place got hit with nukes. I'm convinced, partially convinced, because I'm always open to to hear other people's ideas, that
Well,
it's through sheer joy and sheer anxiousness, and to leave and to get on the boats and to so
well, I don't know. I think it's going to be mixed feelings for myself because, I mean, honestly, I don't want to see anyone suffer. And
no.
I mean, uh, as much as we don't want to believe it sometimes, and sometimes the way life look is doesn't seem like it's believable. But there are some good whites that are out there. So
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
no, nobody's saying that. No,
no,
no, don't
I'm
get
not
me
saying that.
wrong. No, no,
I'm
don't get
so,
me wrong. I'm not talking about. I'm
but
talking
I'm
about
just
these
speaking about.
racist ones. I'm talking about these
Okay,
racist whites. I'm not talking about the ones that that believe that we're the spiritual people and that come along with us. Because there's a lot of white people who actually sat down and ate the same food we ate, was sleeping in the same bed we slept in, and who grew up with us, who are part of our family. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these racist whites that no matter how you come across to them, they're gonna always think the worst of you, and they have nothing but hatred for us. Those are the ones I'm pointing my finger at.
no, but all I was gonna
Are
say
you
is that
talking about
well, all
Cousin
I was
Billy
gonna
Bob?
say no, but hear what I'm saying. All I was gonna say is that for me, I think it's gonna be bittersweet. Is all I'm saying. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right.
So I've been on a couple of panels, and then also listening to a couple other YouTubers, and you still got people making 5-year plans here in Babylon. They are
Yeah.
going to be crying. They
they
Yeah.
are
love it. That's what I'm
still,
saying. They
they
love
love
it.
it.
Tell them, Sister
Yes,
Charlotte.
they love it. They love their careers. They love the money that it, I mean, how much, a half a trillion? Come on, let's go. Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
others are not looking at it like that. They're like, oh, I've got this certification, that
Okay.
certification, this
Okay.
certification, that certification, and I want to get this one, and I want to get that one, and I gotta want to get that one. I'm not ready to go to Africa just yet. And yeah, it's a ton of them out there. It's a ton of them out there.
You ain't
You
lying.
know, like 2 months ago, that was my daughter. She's got this great position, and she's in a chat now. She's probably gonna start messaging me. She's got this great position at Microsoft, and she's making over 6 figures, and she's a manager, and this and that and the other thing, and she just bought a house, and it's like she's making her 5-year plans. I want to pay off my house, pay off all my debt. I'm like, girl, they owe you money. Why you want to pay anything off?
When you come to that realization,
Right.
right after my awakening, some bill collector came asking for money. I said, you know what? I'm not paying you a dime. This government owes me so much money in reparations. Why don't you sue the government and then you can get your money?
Look,
Right. Right. Look, our people are getting bolder and bolder every day. Every day. But I feel you on that, Sister Charlotte. And this is what I mean by my perspective. You know, I'm open to hearing, because then you hear and
now
you
she
go,
calling me.
okay. And so I see what you're saying. Someone said in the chat, it's going to be or like what Oral said, bittersweet, or some sad, some happy. And I get that, because from my perspective, I'm like, whoo, let's go. And then from someone else's perspective, like you were describing, they'd be like, yo, like, I don't want to leave, and so on and so forth. And think about it is if you're in, for instance, I'm in culinary school right now in the midst of Babylon falling, but is to prepare for what's to come. And I don't expect to finish. I don't expect to be in school next month from now, but I can continue my education in Africa. And
Exactly.
so why
Exactly.
not think about, why don't the people that say, well, I'm getting my certifications and I don't want to leave, you can get those certifications in the continent, on the continent. It doesn't have to, one second, sweet pea, it doesn't have to stop just because Babylon falls. It can progress even further because Babylon falls and you end up somewhere else. So
No, I
I
agree with
When
you.
when
I
you
agree.
said that,
Well,
the
personally, I
scripture
don't think
about
you'll need
it,
certifications anyway.
yeah,
$500 billion. Look, I got everybody working for me.
right.
when you were talking about 5-year plans and so on and so forth, it just got me to thinking about the scripture about it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man.
Yeah,
From the
yeah.
time I woke up, I
Wow.
But
started
just so
getting
you guys
t-shirts
know
for
that
hot
it was
weather.
just so you guys know, it was actually a gate in a region of the place that called Eye of a Needle. It wasn't actual physical Eye of a Needle, and it was
Oh,
difficult for camels to get through that area. Just to
oh,
keep
And
it
it,
in context.
okay.
but
I didn't
no,
know.
we have people that are in love with Babylon. Babylon has spoiled us. They hear, oh, the internet is not consistent over on the continent. Oh, the electricity is not consistent over on the continent. They hear all the bad things, even though they don't realize, hey, I can be the solution to help make that better. I can take my skills over there
Exactly.
and help to improve the situation. So we'll have consistent internet. So we'll have consistent electricity. I can be that. But I can take all of my research. We can have, corporations and this and that and the other thing. Instead of thinking on that way, they're like, I want to do this here. I want to, they don't realize that Mystery Babylon is like so close to being decimated. I'm talking buildings on
But
the ground. I mean,
even the
you
things that they claim are bad about Africa, do you know the peace that you hear when all the power goes out? You can hear kids talking to their mom in the compound next to you, laughing and giggling and playing. The hum above the air is gone. You can hear the birds chirping. It's the quiet is necessary. We are so used to all the noises that these electrical items make that we never hear anything. When the power goes out, you heard the power go off. The hum has gone away.
Yep.
And before you ever notice that the things are going off, there's like this click and everything is quiet, the whole neighborhood. And then you start to get to know your neighbors. The first time my power went out, I walked outside and everyone was outside. It was the first, hi, how are you? It's something to that power going out. It's not as necessary as we think that it is.
Well, family, I got a question real quick. So in the scriptures where it's talking about like, when we finally get over there to the wilderness, right? And I know, in a few of the scriptures, I got them written down. That's on the top of the head. I remember that the Most High was saying that He was gonna give us, new hearts, and new get that stony heart out of us, so we don't ever go away from the commandments ever again. I'm curious to see, like, okay, will we even like remember like any of the past, whatever we was on? You forget what I'm trying to say. Like we won't even like remember any of that what we was doing. That's just what
Well,
my
I
question.
think that I think
that's
our
Isaiah
memory
chapter 60,
go ahead.
62 through 66, right? Look, we're going to
Yeah,
be placed in our land. With look, that sorrow that we once had is no longer going to be there, right? There's going to be people that are still going to be, missing this place. But the Most High said, look, that'll be a sin. That actually will be a sin to miss this.
Right. Be like
All right,
Sodom and
brother
Gomorrah.
Karis.
Like turning back when Sarah turned back, to look back on Sodom and Gomorrah and she turned to stone.
Exactly.
We don't want that. That's a teaching moment right there. That don't look back. You walk away from this place, which is Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't look back.
Correct. So I need to clarify something because my daughter is coming at me and she says the people in the chat are coming for her. When I first started speaking about those that are, loving Mystery Babylon, it wasn't her. Then I said even her 2 months ago was still in love. She hasn't even been at her house for over a year now, I don't believe. But she was still making plans. Her debt, getting out of debt and paying the rest of her student loans off and this and that and the other thing. Today, she's ready to go. But 2 months ago, she was in the same way that a lot of people are still. They will be crying because they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave their stuff. I've been selling off my stuff so that I won't have to be attached to stuff. I've been purposely selling off my stuff in my home so I wouldn't have stuff to be attached to. Everything that I leave, it's like I wouldn't even want to take it with me anyway. But yeah,
Right.
stop coming for her in the chat, people, please.
Well, we all got
She just
somebody.
must.
We all got somebody. I got a friend of mine now is one of my coworkers. It was three of us that all came into this awakening together, so we all three would, message each other when we would find something new or new scriptures and stuff like that. We would all sit down and study it, but we got one guy that that he still is in the world, even though he knows the truth. He's still in the world. I want to stay here. I got a new car. I got a new house. I want to stay here. He don't know. He getting cracked upside the head. And me and my partner my buddy was talking about dragging him and throwing his butt on a plane or a boat. Like B.A. Baracus, because he don't like to fly. Well, he don't know. He get knocked out. He coming with us. So I'm not leaving. Listen, I got a policy: no Negroes left behind. I'm not leaving my brother behind. So he can sit up here. We just look at him when he start talking. I'm like, I'm not listening to nothing he said. He don't know. He get knocked out. I'm gonna kidnap his mom. She coming with us too. I'm gonna get his family. We all going on board, and he just gonna be out cold. He'll wake up when we get there. He don't know. He ain't got no choice. He coming.
Right. And the scriptures do say that all of us, not one of us, will be left, right? And so we got them stubborn ones, but something's going to make them unstubborn, you know what I mean, to the point where they're like, okay, because literally all of us, all that are alive, will make it out. And that's another clue as to the fact that our nation will be healed as far as physically, because you have people that can't get out of the bed. You have people on hospice. You have people that can't walk. My own little brother can't walk. You know what I mean? Wow. So we have people that can't get that are on dialysis, and and so on and so forth. And so how are all those type of people are going to make it to the boats and in the planes and so on and so forth? It's because the Most High is going to heal us. That's just a side note, but we
look at brother ASAP. You know what I mean? He's a witness right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I really do believe though that there's going to be it'll probably be an event that you'll never see before, right? They'll be asking to say you need to leave. You need to leave. Get on out of here. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, if you bagging, not bag and tag, but you need to hunt down the stragglers, right, and get them to where they need to get to. There's a price on. Here you go. Send them over to the UN peacekeepers. Oh, look. I got a couple in the trunk. They're masked up. They're still breathing. They look. I hooked them on up with them tranquilizers. You said 1,000. You said 1,000 a head, right? Especially with our black folks. Our black folks are hard headed. Our folks are stubborn. Nah, this ain't my land. Look, especially the
Colorado ranchers.
Yeah,
the Karras have got no problem leaving the urban apologists behind.
Yeah. Oh, they'll be one of the ones leaving because they're going to be like, I have to show my face around these folks that look, there's no 400-year prophecy. Nope, not at all.
There's going to be certain folks hiding in the back of the boat. Yeah, hold on a second.
I truly think that a lot of the things that we're going through now, the whole Karen movement, these people coming up against, our ranchers and like all these different things, the Most High Yah is using that to push us to want to
make us uncomfortable.
Yeah, make us uncomfortable so that we are searching for something else. Where can we go? This is not our home. We're so uncomfortable. I really do have a feeling that a lot of what's going on is he's provoking us.
Yep, he's
Right.
closing doors. He's burning bridges. I watched him do it on my way to Tanzania.
He's souring the milk.
Hmm.
Well, and I think that that has to come through the spiritual, but also through the physical, right? Seeing these,
Hmm.
seeing what we're seeing in front of our eyes, seeing these stories now, where they're trying to explain what it is that they closed up the airspace in Lake Michigan, what they have over Huron. This is now something that is in their face. Whether they think that, we're crazy or not, hey, the time to debate is already over.
Right.
I had this conversation with my kid's mom on Friday. It's like, look, the time for debating is already over. And the funny thing is we were having that conversation, then it was, um, something in Alaska at that time. And I'm like, if you can't tell that this is a setup to try to probe and try to look at what this response is going to be, if to see, okay, well, you saw this, can you see that? How long does it take you to see this? Oh, that took you 24 hours to see this? Uh-oh. What about, oh, it took you 72 hours to see this? Oh, it took you a week to see this. And then guess what? What technology is then being transported or transcribed to, something conventional, right? Let's see if this residue or this paint can then be painted on, this B-17 or C5 equivalent. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that is on out there that we just don't know.
Right.
So when we see and when we're looking at this, we're like, look, we're not looking at the fact of, oh, they're just playing games or they're just doing that. Oh no, they have a purpose. No, the Most High gave them a purpose for what they're going to do to this land.
Sister Charlotte, I have a question for you. How long have you been in Tanzania now?
Sharita, I've been in Tanzania since April the 24th of 2022.
Oh, okay.
You know what's funny about this? These objects popping up, right? So the Washington Examiner came out with an article on the third of this month, and said that balloons is like the top delivery method for an EMP. So just
Right.
put that out there. Yep.
Right.
So
Yep.
they not only, it may be a spy type situation, but so much activity. I think it's bigger than just, let me see how quick your response is. I think that's the main thing. I think they're testing their, what's the word, their about
Senses.
itness. That's not a word, but it's a word tonight. They're
Their
testing.
response, they said they're
Yes.
testing their response time to
Right.
the
Response.
threat is
Right.
basically what they're doing.
So
Right.
they're
Right.
trying to check to see how buck they are. Are
Right,
they
like
real buck? Are they? Yeah.
are you about it? Like Harris was saying, okay, that's okay. It took you this long. It took you that long to respond. But how
Right.
long did it take them to decide to even shoot down the first one? Right. So the U.S. says they're about it, but they're not really. You know what I mean? So
But how long did it take them to discover it? Where was the point of entry? How far did it get before you actually detected it? That's my question to
And
you.
then look how long it took them to shoot it down. I mean,
right.
it's in your private airspace. It shouldn't even been such a question. It should be shot down.
Which makes me question if they put it up there themselves. I don't know. I know China said, "Oh yeah, it's ours," but something's not right, because you know how this country does things. They will do things themselves and then blame it on someone else. You know what I mean? So it's just
Just to get people to go to war, like
right.
they
Right.
did
Right.
with
But
Vietnam.
China's taking a responsibility for it. So I
I
mean,
know
there's
that's
got
so
to be some
But
truth
maybe
to
they
it.
just want the smoke. Maybe they want the smoke.
Or
They want
Right.
them to
well,
do
they said the
that.
first
Or they
one.
want the smoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do. They do. They said the first one was theirs, but what about all these unidentified objects that are now popping up? Are they all coming from China or are they coming from somewhere else? You know what I mean? And
And
so,
were all of these objects sent out at the same time, and now you're just discovering them 8 days later? Or are they being sent out after one is being destroyed?
Well, at this point, I mean, all we can do is speculate, in all honesty. But the fact of the matter still remains that we are at the end of our captivity, which is the most important thing.
yep, amen to that.
That part.
Man, yep. It's time, y'all. It's time. I hope. Look, y'all got y'all traveling outfit. That one outfit y'all want to travel in.
Got to be comfortable.
Look,
Make sure you
Right,
got good
right.
shoes on.
I was
What you-
watching TCA yesterday, and I think I was watching a replay. He's in Africa, and
Okay.
he was wearing a winter coat with a winter scarf, and the person interviewing was wearing a winter coat and a winter scarf.
Well,
And I'm
because
like,
they're in
where is
southern
he?
hemisphere, so there it's different. It's reversed right now. So
Yeah, I
no,
know. Brother
actually,
Asaph was like,
No,
No,
Brother
he was on the
Asaph was like,
80
I
Mediterranean.
got
degrees
Mediterranean
in
will get cold
Tanzania.
like that.
It's
okay.
80
I think
degrees
because of the
in Tanzania.
Mediterranean. He was in the
I
Mediterranean.
saw
It'll get
people
cold.
in Kenya. I saw people in Kenya wearing winter coats. So I'm like, I need to rethink. And Brother Asaph, you need a little bit more than just your little your Hawaiian shirts with your fringes. You might want to take a couple of sweaters.
Well, I can tell
You
you
know
this
where
much.
I'm going, darling. I'm gonna be in
Well, I can
West
tell you.
Africa where it's nice and hot.
Well, in South Africa, because my cousin is close to South Africa, and he was telling me they even get snow over there sometimes, and it does get cold certain
Right.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Right.
What
I
I'm
saw
wondering
Africans'
is,
blood pressure or their blood temperature is different than ours. It's 80 degrees out here, and I will see people wearing puff coats. Like,
What?
yeah.
oh, that's
So
what it is.
their idea of cold and our idea of cold, because we have all four seasons in most places, is very, very different.
Yeah.
When I went
Thank
to
you for that
Kenya, they were
clarity.
telling me it was cold, but it was like California winter, and I was loving it.
Mm.
70 with a little sprinkly. I love that weather, right? But it was
Oh,
freezing for me.
perfect.
Yeah,
So it just depends.
I lived in Atwater, California. We went from North Carolina straight across to Atwater, and I never saw anybody in a winter coat. I seen some other things. I seen people. People are very comfortable with their bodies out there. I tell you what, they don't matter. It don't matter what size you are. I seen some stuff out there. I'm like, oh gracious! I was a child, you know, but yeah, I didn't have, and I still don't buy coats. My husband tell me all the time, like, you need a coat. And I'm like, because you're in Michigan. I'm like, no, I'm not buying a coat. I'm not buying a coat. So it's different when it's hot to us in Michigan, like 75, 80 degrees. Like that's, to me, that's hot. So we go outside 40-degree weather. You know what I mean? Like this feels good. So
Mhm.
Sharita,
I'm gonna have to get used to the hot weather, on the continent, because right now, we're conditioned to, more toward the cold than we are the hot over here. So,
Sharita, what
Aren't
made
we
you
all
pick
going to
Tanzania?
no COVID?
So I left here in 2022. So the only option for travel was Tanzania. All the
Oh, okay.
other countries require you to have the jab to enter into their country.
Now, are you thinking that you
Ghana
want to
doesn't.
move? Do you think you want to move somewhere else?
I don't know. I don't know. The Most High has a way of making me uncomfortable, and He will tell me when it's time to go. He will push me out. No matter how much I want to stay, He will make it miserable for me. Look, I've been sent bed bugs. I've been sent all kinds of stuff throughout my life to make me move because I'm a bit hard headed. But for right now,
what's extra?
um, right now I'm very, I won't say very comfortable, but I'm content with my life right now.
Right.
I'm enjoying the peace, and I also know that the Most High, He'll give you seasons of rest to prepare you for work later, right? And I know that it's not always gonna be this easy because it ain't over with yet. So I'm enjoying my rest while I can, and just trying to get prepared for whatever battles, struggles, and testimonies that are coming.
Yeah.
I hope they drop the requirements you need to move into certain countries over there. They need to drop that and just open up the borders
I think
for.
the more of us that show up, it'll definitely change. I'm just really content with it. I just made peace with it. I just got to get up every 3 months and go because I want to stay legal in the country that I'm in. I don't want no trouble with them. Wherever we go, we're supposed to follow their laws because it's in our law, statutes, and commandments. So I don't really step outside of that.
Hmm.
But I do think that they're going to change a lot of things. The more of us that come here, they don't have any choice. You
Right.
know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It's not that they don't have a choice. It's that it's only reasonable. So long as we're not here causing no problems, we're contributing to society. There's no reason for you not to oppose us. There's no reason to oppose us.
Right, because the
we had a
blessings
lot of
come with us. We're the blessings. The blessings come with us. So they need to open that stuff up and allow us in there. So because we're going to enrich Africa.
Yep, and the Most High is going to make them open it. When he pulls us out, we're not going to all be, we're going to go from where we were taken from, but eventually, so many of us, we are eventually going to have to disperse a little bit while we're in the wilderness, or what have you. So, they won't be able to keep us out of wherever the Most High wants us to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I was looking
so
at some land over there in Rwanda. Man, it's something like on the top of a mountaintop, and the clouds were actually underneath. You can see the city, but the clouds were underneath of you. That's what I want to be. I'm like,
That
man,
and that's kind of why I know I'm not exactly where I want to be. I need mountains and I need ocean too. I need to be near the water. I need to be able to see the mountains. Ever since I left California, I have a need for mountains. So definitely, I think
She's
there's a
California dreaming.
I like the ocean. It's nice to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. Listen, I heard the Marine Kingdom over there is no joke.
look. I
there's a
mean,
lot
we
of
have
everything in
people,
the water.
we have some secular people that, have seen mermaids,
Right, right.
mermen. And these are not Bible believing folk. And they saw mermen. And they like, oh, we don't get into the water after dark.
Best
We don't
believe
get
that
into the
stuff
water
is
after
true. That's not no
Exactly.
myth. That's true.
Oh no, we know.
Even the white people that came
That's
because the natives over there were working on what was it, the dam, something was over there they were working on, and they had their own people working. They said no, it's mermaid people down there. And so they asked that we had foreigners to come in to try and fix the problems that they had down there, and the foreigners came up and said it's mermaids down there. Everybody was talking about, everybody see these things.
Was this before or after Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever?
But this was before. This is before. This is way before they were talking about
That's
that.
just the Northern Kingdom. Calm down. That's just the.
I have a healthy fear of the water, not for that particular reason, but I wouldn't be surprised what's down there. But I'm really learning not to walk in fear and doubt and all the other kind of stuff. And it's something, definitely a skill that you have to hone.
Hmm.
So I wonder, are we going to be split up in nations the way that we were before? Like Judah is close to the tabernacle, and like Jerusalem, is that still going to be Judah's land? Like, are we still going to be on Mount Zion, or are we going to be scattered throughout and just mixed in with the other nations, or should I say the other tribes?
I think that's going to come down probably later when we first get there. Well, I think when we first get there, I think we're just going to be so content with just trying to figure things on out. But as we figure things on out, we're going to come back to the realization of this is the Most High doing stuff for us. There's going to be different mechanisms to that, and I'm not saying, look, when we go there, all everything's just going to stop. No, it doesn't. Everything progresses, and it's just going to progress differently, right? Because we're going to have a different focus. Our focus right now is to get out of Babylon. Our focus when we get on the continent is how we treat the land and how we do things righteously in the land, so we don't do what? So we don't get vomited up from the land ever again, right? That's going to be
Yeah,
a healthy and righteous fear that we're going to have to do what? To do our best to follow all the law, statutes, and commandments. And think about
correct.
it. We won't have any influences of Babylon there to say, well, what about this? What about that? No, it's a little different when you're there and you're outside of Babylon. Trust me, it is.
Oh,
It's a
okay, but the
difference.
next part is the wilderness in Africa, because he said that only the righteous will be able to go into the land. So it's almost as if our wilderness is not in quote unquote Israel. Our wilderness will be outside of Israel. A lot of people think that the entire continent is Israel, or it's just the West, East Africa. Wherever the wilderness is, it will not be in our promised land. I do know that, because he
No,
said
and
only the
you
righteous
have
will
to.
be able to enter into the land.
And you can see that by just when you touch down here, you know that this is not our land. Like, we're here. I'm here to get away from everything that's over there, and I have a sense of peace. But I know this is not the final
Hmm.
stop. I feel like I'm in my wilderness right now, and that there's something else. That is the goal. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's at. And a lot of the scripture that you're talking about right now and throughout the Bible, we're not going to know until the Most High reveals that to us.
Reveals it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
um, and to try to make all these assumptions about what's going to happen here and then, I'm waiting to see y'all come up out of there. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting for. I'm waiting to see how this story starts to come together. We see the little puzzle pieces coming together, and it's not going to be until after we leave that we can even get a good picture of the puzzle until we're gone. We can.
I
My
gotta
opinion is that
go ahead, brother.
when we're regathered, the promise that we will be able to drive our enemies out of anywhere that we set our foot will come into force. And anywhere that we set our foot will be ours. So we can't definitively say, well, this is going to be our land, or there is going to be our land. We've got a promise that was never fulfilled in Exodus, that wherever we go, we'll be able to, our enemies would be driven out of the land. So wherever we set foot, whether it's going to be on the continent, which I believe, or whether it's going to be in Arabia, or however we expand, our enemies will have to leave that place.
Well, I wanted to say I had a quick unpopular opinion. I just wanted to get y'all's, thoughts on it. I was reading a little bit deeper into Genesis 15, and I think it's the 18th verse, where it was saying what the Most High had promised Abraham was around the river of Egypt all the way to the river Euphrates. So I was just looking on maps, and I'm like, okay, river of Egypt. I'm just putting clues here. Is that the Nile River? Nile River to all the way to the Euphrates, or is that not the Euphrates over there in
No.
stretches through Syria? And
No.
I
okay,
don't.
A lot of the
Yeah, I don't
Africans,
think that
a lot of
that's
the
the.
Africans feel the Niger River is the
Yeah.
actual river Euphrates.
okay.
Because that thing dried up and ain't no angels come up.
Right.
It's it's,
And the
it's so
angels
many
aren't supposed
things
to come
that
up
we
until
don't know
after
because they've changed things around.
those,
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's gonna be so many things. Like I said, the picture is not gonna become clearer until we're gone, and even then, we're not gonna get the whole picture. And um, I'm just I'm just happy at this point that the teachers that the Most High has led me to and introduced me to, that they're good teachers, and that I can tell by their fruits and their works that they're preaching truth to the best of their ability. And it's not to say they get it right all the time, but their fruit tells me that it's not rotten, that it's edible, and that I'm going to get nourishment from the teachers that I've surrounded myself with. So, are you laughing at me?
No, the chat, the chat on the screen. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's gonna get easier as we leave. It's gonna be more clear, but I, some of this stuff we just really can't speculate on right now. I think it's immature and almost ridiculous to try. Some of the with all the lies that these people have told us, until those lies that they've told us about these land masses and all that kind of stuff is uncovered, and people like Dante and Yacoba and other people that know how to decipher this stuff, you know, they led us to believe that everything has been discovered already. But the real reality is, us as African Americans and Africans, we're going to have to uncover all of the lies that they've told. And when we can start uncovering that stuff, that is when this mystery is really going to unravel, right?
We have teachers that have been unraveling a whole lot, and the Most High has been revealing things and speaking to them audibly. Like, Mount Zion is Mount Kenya, Mount Ephraim is Mount Simeon. The Sea of Galilee is actually Lake Victoria, and so many different things have been revealed. So it's all based off of who you watch, and then go back and do the research yourself. Like the Lake Victoria, they still, just like in biblical days, they still fish there at night. And it's like one of the most it's very choppy, just as the way it was when our ancestors, the disciples, was, when Yahusha was sleeping in the boat, and it was like, they're like, oh my goodness, we're gonna die, and he was still sleeping, and then he just told the water to calm down. Well, the water still get that choppy, and they still fish at night. It's like the most deaths fishing on in Lake Victoria or the Sea of Galilee than anywhere else in the ocean for them over there. But a lot is being revealed. And Most High said that in these times, see, in those days is the days that we're in now. So wherever you see in the scriptures where it says in those days, we're in those days where knowledge is increasing. So we're learning a lot of stuff right now. Now, the after those days, which is the Jeremiah 31:31, Teo, and Yacoba, after those days is the after these days. After those days is the times where we're already out of our captivity, we're back in our land, and so on and so forth. But
But think about
yeah,
this though. While you're speaking, how is it that this place is in the middle of Africa and it's called by a white queen's name? You know,
they changed it. They changed
that's
it.
what
One of
I'm
my
saying.
girlfriends,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. I'm just saying
one.
the absurdity and the audacity is what I'm talking about.
See, these fallen angel offspring, they have the audacity. They think they can do anything. They think they can change anything. And they thought they were going to be able to get away with it, but they didn't realize that the Most High himself was going to wake us up. The Most High himself was going to start speaking to us. And in Kenya, it's called Mount Zion Day, and they go to Mount Kenya and they pray. And there's the Kikuyu, it's a Bantu speaking tribe, the Kikuyu. They live at the bottom of the mountain, and they say their God lives at the top of the mountain, and they match us in DNA. So, I guess they are people. The DNA don't lie. But anyway, because somebody just said Mount Kilimanjaro it's a part of our kingdom still. Mount Kilimanjaro is still a part of our kingdom, but Mount Kilimanjaro is not Mount Zion. The Most High told someone specifically, and I already had it in the back of my head that it was Mount Kenya. And then to find out that the Kenyans themselves already know that it's Mount Zion, and they call it Mount Zion, and they have a Mount Zion day. Just like
Yeah,
we
Dr.
were
Mumby said that.
yeah, we were told that we in the scriptures that we would be asking, where is Mount Zion? And they already know on the ground. It's
Right.
because the people on the ground already know.
Right.
So, it was like multiple different confirmations for me. But yeah, Mount Simeon up there in what do you call it, Ethiopia, that's the Northern Kingdom's mountains. Those are their mountains, and those are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. They are keeping those mountains protected. Most High said that Jerusalem will be a desolate. Desolate means to be devoid of inhabitants. So
Right.
no one is allowed to live on that mountain other than a couple of priests. But yeah, even in Mount Simeon, nobody's allowed to live there. The Most High left those places. So when we get back, we'll be able to build our walls. We will be able to build up the mountain, whoever wants to live in, or whoever he tells, because we have an inheritance. The inheritance in Joshua was divided out. So those places are still our places. That land that was etched out in Joshua, that hasn't changed. We might want to think, oh, we can go wherever we want, but the Most High said we have an inheritance and we have to abide by what the Most High says, not what we want to do.
Right.
But I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry.
I really don't think that we'll really know until we actually get there into the land. Because look, I look at it like this. I still believe we'll have infiltrators, right? Coming on over. Just because our people are going to make it on out doesn't mean that our people want to be, you know, are ready to do the Most High's will. Do you get what I'm saying? A lot of people came out of Egypt. That didn't mean they wanted to do the Most High's will. Not at all.
Yep. Yep.
Not at all.
Yep.
And you have folks that have had this 400 years of nonsense on them that they love this place, and imagine you have to leave to go back to the land of our forefathers. A lot of us will be happy and a lot of them will be very unhappy.
Look, those
Very
campers are going to be unhappy because they're going to have to leave their Gentile wives behind.
well, it'll be very unhappy because at the same time, look, they did not want to do what the Most High had commanded them to do. And what the Most High had commanded them to do, they're already looking at like, well, this is America is our land. This is this and this is that. So imagine now everything that they had learned in terms of their false doctrines and their falsities being exposed. Well, then guess what? They're going to come up with another doctrine. They're going to come up with something else to do what? To get the sheep. You know, this is that core doctrine. It's going to be core. You're going to come on out, but you may not have liked the fact that you left your position. You
Yep.
left your
It's a
Sound like
perpetual
a rebel to
fight.
me.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
well.
Absolutely.
That's the rebels being purged. Exactly.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
the rebels being
it's
purged.
like what it says in Jude, Jude 1, which is Jude is just one chapter and verse 5, that everyone came out of Egypt, but not everyone was saved.
hmm And I'm not gonna come here and don't make no mistake on this channel. Listen, a lot of our folks had awakened and were in marriages with Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna come here and say, well, this and that. No, that's not gonna be my place. Because you understand, the Most High gives us grace.
Right.
There are folks that have
My position is
spouses.
the same as First Corinthians chapter 7. If the partner is willing to live with you, then naturally you cannot divorce them. And some Gentiles are in assemblies like mine that are keeping perfect Torah. I don't think the Most High would separate those families.
Bingo.
Right.
He did in the in what is that book, Ezra?
He,
But
he, he did in
there's a
Ezra chapter 7 and Nehemiah chapter 10, but those women were not keeping Torah, neither
Bingo.
did they speak the same language.
Language.
So you've
Yeah.
got to look at scripture
so
in context.
So
Bingo.
there was a couple of like Maria, she's married to a Gentile, and the Most High told her that royalty will not be able to be married to the civilians. I guess that, anybody else in the kingdom that is not an Israelite would be considered a civilian of the kingdom.
Well,
And he pretty
you
much let
cannot
her
prove that
know.
in scripture. First Corinthians chapter 7 does not support that. And I'm willing to debate anybody on that
Well,
subject.
she said that the Most High told her
What she says
specifically.
and what First Corinthians chapter 7 says is completely different.
All right, let's read First Corinthians chapter 7.
I believe that he allows some for some people and others not.
Yeah, if you
For
if and that's the thing. If you have a Gentile spouse that's a believing spouse, I'm not going to condemn anything.
A
Okay, that's
mixed
not my
I'm
place.
one.
multitude came out
That's
I'm
of
not my
wondering
place.
if it's.
Egypt.
That's the
I'm
Most High's
wondering if
place.
it's because she's a woman and he's the man, and the man is the head of the house, and a Gentile man can't be a head of uh royalty. I don't know, but that's what he told her. And there was another sister that also got that message from the Most High. So
There is an incident in I think I'll find it for you in a second.
I
Well, I
mean
want to
that
say like I hope we don't get too caught up in the who's we all one in the body of Yeshua. It's
that's
okay.
salvation.
It's okay, y'all.
That's salvation and eternal life. That's not including the inheritance and who is going to be, because I had a brother that did a video on, when it says that at the seventh trump we'll get our
Right. If you
incorruptible
look at
bodies.
Ezekiel, from memory, if you look at Ezekiel chapter 42 and read from there to the third verse of chapter 43, I'm going from memory, it tells you that the stranger will be joined to Yasharel and receive the same land inheritance.
It actually does say that. I know it, and I know the chapter you're talking about. It does say that. So they're strangers, right? And then there's going to be Gentiles, and then there's going to be heathens. We're living amongst the heathen, right? But there are Gentiles that do love and support Israelites. Those Gentiles that will then cleave to the Israelites, they're cleaving, they're coming to the land. What are you just going to do with them? Well, we're just going to dump you over here. Stay over here where the sanitation plants are at.
they're adopted.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
Right.
are they also going to rule, because the
No.
Most High, I mean,
No, they don't
that's
rule
the
No.
or reign.
issue.
That is
that
No.
that's where
that's
I was getting at.
citizenship. It's
That
No.
is
citizenship.
where I was
No.
getting at.
Yeah, no,
Because
it's
the
citizenship.
Israelites will be the royal priesthood. They will be the
Right.
kings in the royal priesthood.
Correct.
So that's what I was getting at. Not necessarily that they won't be coming or anything like that, but it's a status that Israel will have that no other nation will have.
Correct.
That maybe I just, didn't say it correctly. But
But guess what? But
Yeah,
everybody makes a
in
covenant.
Leviticus
Everybody goes out.
24, verse 10, there's an account of an Israelite woman married to an Egyptian man.
Yep.
And the
Right.
son blasphemed at in Leviticus 24, verse 10, and the son was stoned. So they'll be subject to the same laws that we'll be subject to. So there's nothing that prohibits um, a Gentile from being married to an Israelite woman if they were married before they awaken and coming out of captivity together, because it's happened before.
Yeah, this is just if you're not if that spouse is then trying to say no, no, you need to stay in Eurocentric Christianity. You're not. You don't need to worry about you being an Israelite. You're just black. All right, that's going to be a problem that the Most High is going to have with that. It will not be blessed. The problem that we have is when we see that the Most High is working in those marriages, that there is a Gentile who then has the zeal for what the
Right.
Most High and His people. Oh, I don't. What does it do? I mean, it's naturally in a lot of our people's flesh. They get mad, they get upset. Well, what is this? Well, what's that? Well, that's the oppressor. I mean, is it? Is that how the Most High sees them? Does
Mo-
Yeah,
the
he said he
Most
would
High
sell
see?
us to our
no, the
enemies.
Most High looks at their heart.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Most High doesn't see that. He looks at their heart. If your
You-
heart's still a heart of oppression, then guess what? You're gonna stay here. Because why? Because the heart of oppression is gonna keep you here in Babylon. If you're a
Exactly.
Gentile, if
it,
you're if you have a heart for the Most High, then guess what? Your heart is going to lead you to go with the people
Right.
Exactly.
because you have a heart for the Most High. Therefore, if you are a bloodline Israelite, do you even know we are commanded in how we treat them?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
don't get high and mighty about where your bloodline status is because the Most High said, look, don't abhor them. Don't treat them
Deuteronomy.
bad.
Hmm.
You better not because why? Because you can actually separate yourself from being outside of Israel.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, he said don't abhor the Egyptian and the Edomite.
No,
Exactly.
the stranger. The
No, it says that,
stranger,
Kev.
the stranger that's the stranger that's among you. You need
Right.
to read those scriptures again. The stranger that's among you.
Right.
Don't abhor them because why? Because you were a stranger
Right.
in a land that was not yours.
Right. They
But
become part of
these
the
folks,
adoption.
bingo,
Yeah,
but these folks are literally walking out of the land with us.
that's
Right.
right.
So
And
I
Right.
it says in First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 13, that if you have a partner that is willing to live with you and they
Serve the Lord
believe,
as you do.
that's right.
you know what?
so the
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, the Most High must have changed, because for him to have
No,
one
Most High
thing in
never
Ezra
changed.
and
That's
then
the
the
He,
other.
he
scripture.
never
Because
changed.
because we're
So Ezra,
commanded with the stranger. But read the full context of Ezra.
I'm not
We're
talking
we're
about.
saying
I
we're
did. He led me to Ezra, and 2 days later, you did something on Ezra where Red Letter Wrapped came on, and pretty much, I believe, was saying the same thing I'm saying now. But in Ezra, Ezra was so upset. He said the stranger. He just said the stranger in Ezra. It said they were adjoined to the stranger. It was the men. They had strange wives and strange children, and it was wintertime, and they had to wait until the spring before they had to, have them leave.
You see, that captivity was a different captivity from the Egyptian captivity.
in
Because if
our
you look,
captivity. Because
that's right.
guess what? They
If,
had records.
yeah, if
They
you,
knew who they were when they left.
that's
And guess
correct.
what? They were not separated from their heritage. Therefore, they knew their inheritance. They knew exactly where to go right back into their land after what? After their 70 years. We didn't have that. We don't have that luxury. And the Most High already said that we don't have that luxury. We were going to be different because of how we were punished this go around, where we were detached and devoid of all and anything that would deal and do with our blood right, and our bloodline. None of that was going to be saved, especially for here amongst Zion, children of David, here in the midst of Babylon. No, we were going to have the grace to be able to carry forward. So, those strangers in this captivity, when they walk out with us, it's going to be a different grace. Everybody is going to fall under that grace when you leave. That's a declaration of who? Of who you follow. Am I going to follow Babylon or will I follow the Most High and his children?
If I remember correctly, didn't Moses' sister speak up against him when
Yeah,
he when
she did.
and
Miriam did. Yeah.
exactly, and Miriam, and then what, she got leprosy for
She
opening her
suffered
mouth.
leprosy. Yeah, and
Exactly.
had to be out
Exactly.
the
Yeah,
camp for
for
7
7
days.
days.
But
I
this
mean,
time,
people
I
also
mean,
Yeah,
forget
that's
that
in Numbers
Israel.
12, verse 10.
Right. Right.
So
Go ahead,
are
Kev.
you correlating that to me saying something to who you correlate somebody to be Moses?
No, all I'm saying is that there's a fine line that we all have to walk, and how we judge other people. There's a fine line. And
I'm
this is the
see.
and this is the thing. This is the thing that we are ironing out right now. How to deal with this. They're not going to rule. We're ruling. But I think God allows some allowances for people because he looks at their heart. You know, it's all about the heart. Everybody keep thinking it's about race. A lot of times it's all
It's
about the
not.
heart, where
It's
your
not.
heart is.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Definitely,
Bingo.
because Ruth was a Moabite, and through that line, Hamashiach came.
Exactly. We must
You
hate
know,
Moab, so we hate ourselves.
definitely.
Well,
And
Oh,
if you
I
look,
like.
if
you get what I'm saying. Look,
yeah,
there's a reason for that because here's the thing: not one of us is clean.
that's
Look,
Right,
right.
the Most High can literally say, "I don't want none of y'all," because guess
right.
what? Everybody here has had some sort of product of European mess in you, right? Because everybody's forefathers and their parents and things of that nature have been raped. Everybody's mamas had somebody that wasn't theirs.
That's right. That's why
So
it says in
we
Joel
gotta stop
three
with this
twenty
craziness.
one. It says in Joel chapter 3, verse 21, that he'll clean our blood that he has not cleansed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean we we're I mean we're still trying to judge and condemn each other. I'm like, look, we don't have time for that with them balloons.
We ain't got time.
No
Okay,
way.
look, we ain't got time for that. Gentiles, if y'all want to tag along, tag along. Don't let nobody discourage you.
You better hurry up.
You
Yeah.
know what?
See,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and it's good that we're having these conversations. It's so good that we're having these conversations because there's a lot of people out there that are wondering about this or wondering about that. We're ironing out everything right here and now.
Right. Right.
If it's about Yahusha, I didn't get waken up. I didn't get awoken to this via anyone else. I got awoken to this via Yahusha Hamashiach.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Because when I asked the Holy Spirit and he told me with the audible voice that we're the Israelites, that was my awakening.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
why? I was zealous for, and I'm still zealous for, Yahusha HaMashiach.
yeah,
I don't have a heaven or a hell to throw anybody. Listen, I
yeah,
can't judge anybody. Who am I to judge right now in the land of our captivity? So if they're going to come
that's
with this,
correct.
you can't judge them, or you need to stay here. Heaven forbid. And
Right.
what? And me risk my salvation? You tripping?
You know what? I wanna share something real quick. Um, you know, being awakened to the truth of who we are. You know, we begin to research. You know, all that has happened to us and stuff. It can it can affect you in a way where you start to look at others, and I'm speaking from personal experience. You start to look at, you know, Gentiles funny because, you know, you're realizing, you know, what their ancestors have done and what some of them, you know, do to this day. But I thank the Most High because He has blessed us with some Gentile friends that, and because of that, it has kept us level. Because I'll tell you this, you know, we have a friend that we met when we were in the Adventist church, like say about 7 years ago. And this woman and her family, I'm talking Fresh Prince of Bel Air house situation, total opposite, you know, lifestyle of you know, kind of, you know, typical, you know, Gentile lifestyle. You know, not to say all Gentiles are well off, but, you know, typical, you know, Gentile lifestyle and everything. Let me tell you, when I tell you that this woman and her family adores our family, I'm talking, we go out places and she's picking up my you know, Hebrew babies, kissing them and playing with them, and other people are looking at her like, what in the world? She doesn't even care. You know, she's come to the hospital, you know, when two of my children have been born, you know what I mean, to visit. I don't have family like that. So she's come and been there, you know, to support us, you know, through births of children and all kinds of stuff. And she literally, when I say clean, this woman and her family, they literally, I mean, we are on her shelf. Our family photo is on her shelf in her living room. You know what I mean? And so it just has helped us to be to stay level, because sometimes you get upset and you get angry at them, but then the Most High, you know, chill. You know, there are a lot of Gentiles that do love us, you know what I'm saying, and do care for us. They're not all, bad. And that's just speaking from my personal experience. This woman, and her family, like literally, I mean, her screensaver is, and has been for years, mind you. And I kid you not, on her cell phone, because she's an older lady, she's in like her early 50s. So, they don't change screensavers, but her screensaver is her daughter, her youngest daughter. And
hey, I'm in my 50s and I changed my screensaver. You can't be saying
okay.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I didn't mean it like that. but her screensaver has been for a year. My oldest son is 7 years old. So this was when my son was probably about 4 years old, right? Her screensaver is her youngest daughter and my son. So when she comes over to visit and she opens up her iPhone, that's what's on her screen. That's how much she loves our family. So it's hard for us to hash some things out, but it's good to talk about these things and just we all a lot of us do have Gentiles that
that's correct. In
so
Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 4, it says, "All souls are mine, and the soul that sinneth shall surely die." And don't the other nations have a soul as well? That's why salvation came to them. If you read Romans 11.
But here's a thin line between that,
17.
though. Here's a thin line between that, because a lot of times when we speak about us being the people, they always bring up the skin doctrine. Always we're speaking skin doctrine. So I still say it's a thin line between saying what you're saying right now, brother, and the fact that we are the people.
But that's if you think about that argument's irrelevant. You get what I'm
Why would
saying?
you say it's
Unless
irrelevant?
you've got a scripture to back it up, you're skating on thin ice.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if they're truly for the Most High, then why would they be arguing about skin doctrine?
I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm telling you?
Uh-huh.
So that's the whole thing. That just means they don't trust in the Most High, because they're not trusting in His salvation.
Right.
Nobody. Don't trust on Brother Karras. I can't save you.
I know that.
I have certain days trying to save myself.
I done made everybody mad talking about people in their 50s don't change their screens. Listen, everybody, I am so sorry. I love you. I didn't mean it like that. Don't throw stones at me now. I'll say everybody in their 75-year-old, 80, they don't change their screensavers. How about that?
Listen, Brandy. Half the people asking, "What's a screensaver?"
Right. Hey, I don't change my screensavers.
Okay,
I fit that description.
Right, but you know what, Brother Dave? When you said you were pushing 60, I still can't believe that, because you sound like you about 32.
Actually, if you see me, I look that young too.
Look what they say now. They say black don't crack. That's true.
Yep.
Well, that must have been some miracle fluoride in that Philly water, huh?
Alicia said she coming for me. Look, I was gonna show my face at the ports, when we get ready to go. Now I'm gonna have to put a mask on, because everybody
I
comes
don't show my face that often to people.
Look, everybody
Karras, I'm trying to leave out of here incognito. You know what I'm saying? Where you going, Brother Karras? I'm gonna tag along with you. No. You already know that I got some things lined on up. You're gonna try and run up in my spot. You know,
right,
we black folks are. We gotta have a little bit of something.
Right.
Something.
I'm gonna get tackled by the boat. Talking about, remember when you said the 50-year-olds can change their screensaver? Yeah. But yeah, it's a touchy subject, though. You know what I mean? Because we've been hurt as a nation and stuff like that, and so but
I still want to know what scripture it is that Brother Karras was talking about, because I'm looking at Deuteronomy 23, verse 7 through 8, and it's specific to two nations. And also what I was really referring to was Galatians 4:5 and Romans 9:4. So who does the adoption of sons pertain to? It's not everybody.
I'll do it like I did Rojo. Guess what? I made a video about this a while ago. I touched in on this. You got 900 videos that you can look where I spoke about this. You can start perusing.
We will be on the Exodus by that time for me to watch.
I spoke about it. Look, you're trying to. That's the whole thing. It's like, he's gonna call me on that. Look, you're talking about UFOs. Okay,
you got you got some
we,
homework to do.
we got homework
No,
to
but
do.
I think
Exactly,
what I think is that
exactly.
people are misunderstanding me and they're coming at me because they're in their feelings. I'm talking about the adoption of sons and who's going to be ruling, not anything else. Yes, we will have an entire kingdom of all different nations,
Yeah,
but
no,
there will
we
only
already know
be
who's going to be.
one
Yeah,
group
we
of
already know
people
who's
that
going
are
to be ruling
ruling.
and
Yeah,
reigning.
we're ruling.
That's yeah, that's not the issue.
Right.
Yeah, that's not an issue. You coming on, look, Gentiles, you're coming on over with us. You're gonna have your little spot. But guess what?
You ain't gonna
You're
be running shit.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're gonna be in the kingdom. That's just how it goes. You
Oh,
are a
snap.
citizen of the yeah, you're a citizen of the kingdom. That's just how it is. Now,
And that's all
during
I was
that
trying to
time,
say.
yeah, now during that time, we're the ones that's gonna be straightening things on out. Because why? Because we're the people. Because who? We're Judah. We're Zion. So what does that do? We have to give this law. And guess what the Most High did? He's given us credence behind our name.
Right.
Because why? Because we endured the most.
Right.
We went through the most. We
Ain't
fought.
that the truth?
Do you understand? We fought the most. No one in these other countries that we have gone to, that we have our diaspora in. Sorry, I got to come through and I got to do a little bit of Caribbean hating. Sorry, brother Oral, but this is the truth.
Uh-oh.
But this is the truth. I'm gonna let you know this is the truth. But our people that's been here since 1619, and we can bring that up with fact. We have some we can test that with fact. We've been here fighting for this nation since its inception. Since its inception.
But are you aware that actually people from the islands came over to fight for this country too?
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But guess what? But they could go back. They were allowed to go back. We couldn't. We were told the lie of you fight and we'll make things better. Y'all are like, hey, we're out. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So there's a little there. So let's put this on to context. And I'm not hating on you, and I'm not hating on the islands, but let's just put this into context. We were here fighting. You all really weren't doing much but seeing us fight. You would come on over, man. Look, and what can you do? You couldn't do nothing but shake your head and be like, "Look, I'm praying for you, man. Hey,
But
my
you
daughter."
know Marcus Garvey's from Jamaica, right?
I know, but what happened with Marcus Garvey? He got ran on out. Did he do much? I mean, you get what I'm. I mean, you get what I'm saying. So we have to put that into the perspective here. And then what ended up happening? Then back in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, then everybody came in, and it's like, okay, well, you know, the fighting allowed for us to come on in, for our folks to come on in, for our people to come on in. But for in terms of black folks being from 1619 being brought over here in chains, being on these slave plantations up through emancipation. No, we had to fight, and we were in all their wars. And if we didn't want to join their wars, then guess what? We were conscripted. They don't like to tell you about that with the Spanish American War. You get what I'm telling you? They don't like to tell you about what we were fighting and how we were fighting in the Civil War on the Confederate side when they were losing. We were just running, run them, catch them, beat them down while we're getting shot by our own people.
That's crazy.
And then even to this day, we're still and we had still been the number one people. Why do you think they were so mad? Think about this. They were mad that their recruiting numbers were down amongst us.
Starting to wise up. That's what it is.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I get you though.
And then when you all came on over, y'all like, nah, don't do that, don't do this. Because why? Because you could see the game. We weren't mad at you all that you were from the islands. We were mad because you want to know why? Y'all couldn't help us. That's the
I
same thing
think
that goes on in Africa right now. They're mad because why? Because we can't help them. Sorry, we couldn't. We just absolutely could not. Same with folks from the islands. Hey, we're coming on over. We're gonna try and establish. We're gonna try and build, but we couldn't do anything. And then guess what? By the Most High's grace, now we're all coming together. Now we're all talking. Now we're all starting to realize where and how we were all oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because that even becomes a soreness when we can't even understand how our oppression was done. Well, you see how defensive we get just to even understand how our oppression was done. Do you know what that means? That means that the enemy did a great job
Yep.
breaking us down. He did an absolute stellar job.
supernatural. That's supernatural right there, man.
An absolute stellar job. Unfortunately, and we have been 400-year victims of this. But now, here's the thing that they hate. We're no longer doing the victimization cards. You want to know what card we're pulling?
Yeah, tell us.
Exit stage left.
No, we pulled the repentance card.
Right.
They hated that. What do you mean repent for? There's nothing to repent for, right? What do I always say? What do I need to repent for? I never sinned.
You saw how much heat Brother Yakoba got for December 31st.
Yeah, good, good. And listen, if you're not getting any heat, then guess what? You're not being effective for the Most High's kingdom. You want to know how much heat I get every single day from knuckleheads that just eats on me stuff? Oh, you're this, you're that, you're this. And you know what I do? I said thank you. I say thank you. Because you want to know why? If I wasn't doing a good job of tearing down Hasatan's kingdom one brick at a time, then I wouldn't be catching any flack. Think about all these comments that I get on my comments for certain videos.
Yep.
Read some of those comments that I get. So,
Mm-hmm.
I used to let that stuff bother me. Oh man, Father, and I had to laugh, and I said, Father, thank you that I'm getting this opposition. Thank you that I'm getting torn down. Because if I wasn't getting any opposition, then I'd be doing something wrong.
Straight up. And that's opposition, as far as people, opposition in the spiritual realm, as far as like literally battling spirits, you know what I mean? Like for a long time I be asking, like, what did I do? Like, why is the heat so turned up, you know what I mean? But it's because of the walk and the effectiveness of that walk, you know what I mean? You don't know who you're affecting, and so yeah, that's just something I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Look, I never thought that I'd be reaching 400 plus folks in the chat. That's still pretty lengthy. And I'm not out here. I'm not out here with a great social media campaign. I'll comment once or twice. That's not my thing. I just do what the Most High has instructed me to do. Now, if there's some doctrine or error that has to be corrected, I will zealously correct it. But listen, I'm going to tell you, I appreciate every one of you folks on this panel. I truly do. And you know what we do? We will fight tooth and nail to do what? To keep each other in line, because it's not about the sake of myself. It's the sake of us. It's the sake of our people. You know that we're doing this for our family, for our children, and our children's children.
Well,
Iron sharpens iron.
just to jump in and say this, I mean, I'm sure everybody on the panel also appreciates you, Yakoba, all the other great guys that are out there that's actually trying to do the will of the Most High, because as you mentioned, it's not easy. And for me, I can just go back and I have no platform. I have to worry about too much heat. You have to come and open up your platform in the morning and see all this negativity, and sometimes it's not the best thing to see early in the morning.
Yep. I mean, agreed.
True, but if I'm staying up at 1:45 in London, UK, and I went to work yesterday, you must know that I really care about this platform.
Hmm.
Right on.
Wow.
Hallelujah. Yeah, yeah.
I keep forgetting what time it is
Yeah,
over there.
yeah. It's 2 in the morning where George's, where Brother Asap's at. It's 2 in the morning. That's
Wow.
and look, this thing is world. This thing is worldwide. This isn't just a we're just here. So it's a little. It's just in America, right? It's a little niche thing in America. It'll go. This thing you'll definitely blow over in a few days, in a few years. That's what they thought. It's gonna blow over. No, it's not. This was never gonna blow over. This is always gonna be the way it was gonna be because this was not made of man.
Prophecy must be fulfilled.
Yeah, my missus thought I was in the cult, but I got great pleasure today showing how that image of the in Brazil was getting busted upside the head with lightning
Well, yeah, yeah.
using
No,
an
that's
American
it's
expression.
that was a great picture. Thank you for sharing that, brother Asaph. Because here's the thing. Look,
They
all
got
these
walked
idols,
upside the head.
these idols are being judged. Even the wooden stone, even the wooden stone.
And iron.
Yeah, and iron. Exactly. Well, that's the steel.
It's
You know.
Egypt 2.0 all over again, my brother.
Hmm. Unreal. It's unreal, but we are here.
So God
We're
knows what's going to happen in the next 48 hours or in the next 24 hours, because I
We don't
Right.
mean,
even know what's going to happen in the next when we wake up tomorrow.
that's what
Right.
I'm saying.
Right.
That's what
You know
I'm
what I'm
getting at.
saying? It's like, come on now.
Yeah, it's like that. It's
It
you
could
wake
be
up.
like they're gonna try and blanket this place. What if that's 3 days of darkness? That it's just nothing but balloons that they send on. It's like, well, that explains 3 days of darkness. It took them 3 days to shoot down all the balloons. That would be wild, wouldn't it?
That
That
would
would
be
be
wild.
wild.
That would be wild. Well,
We just have 5 billion balloons on up there that just blanketed the whole sky.
Hey, don't give him any ideas. Don't give him any ideas, man.
I
They're
don't
gonna have
know.
a
I think that
UFO
that may be
swarming.
coming. Look, I don't know. That would be kind of a brilliant tactic. What happened to the sky?
I don't know, but it started. It's not going to stop. It's only increasing, right? It's only okay. There's one here
That's what
shot
I'm
down,
saying.
one
That's
here
what I'm
shot down,
saying.
one here shot down.
What if they?
Okay, so we're gonna wake up tomorrow. They're gonna be like, "Oh, there was an unidentified object spotted over, whatever," and we shot that down too. And so man, like we're literally right there. I'm so excited. They need to hurry up and do this. So and raise up on it. I'm telling you, I am telling you, I don't have anything but spring clothes packed. And in light of the conversation we just had about, it being cold or people wearing coats over there and stuff, I might have to pack, something else, but,
Sweater.
yeah, a sweater or two or something. But I have all dresses and, all kinds of, I'm
Well,
ready. I'm ready for the sun.
yeah. Well, he said that in I forget what scripture it is about the wilderness, that he's going to make it like a Garden of Eden.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that that's the perfect temperature for everybody. Like nobody would be able to complain about that temperature.
Sunny and 75 degrees.
75, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That is, I can do
75 too
75.
cold for me. I needed about 82.
Oh no.
Constantly,
Nah, that's too much.
constantly, year round, year round.
75 with a slight breeze.
Right.
You can't get no pool with 75 degrees. Stay in a pool with 75
Oh, yes, you
degrees.
can.
No, you can't.
Listen. At $500 million, we could have a heated pool.
I'm
Right.
gonna have to if you're gonna talk about 75 degrees. No, yeah, I'm gonna have to have a heated pool.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's trying to the polar bear games. No,
But
Polar bear plunge.
Flame on.
but you guys, I gotta get ready to go here. Thank you, Karis, for allowing me to come on the chat and hold on one second, sweetheart. Okay. Wait, one second. And you hear, yeah, it's time to put them in the bed. And right. And peace and blessings to everybody in the chat and everybody on the panel. Love y'all and hope y'all have a good night. If I doze off and wake back up, I'm gonna check to see if y'all still on.
Peace and blessings to you,
I'm not gonna
sister.
be on that
See you,
long. But
Brandy.
yeah, thank you, Sister
Thank you.
Brandy.
All right.
Please check
Tell
out.
DJ goodbye.
I will. I
Oh,
will.
wait. Leave your channel information
Hold
before
on.
you leave.
You
Before you
said
leave, give me your channel information.
oh my channel. Oh boy. Oh okay, guys, give me 1 second, okay? Okay, go ahead. All right.
Mothers always mothers.
I literally have all 5 children around me, sitting around me right now. But
Man.
but you can
Mothers are
find
the best, man.
yeah. But I'm just Brandy McAfee. Brandy McAfee. That's it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Appreciate that, Karis.
Yeah, I had to. She's got to get that quip in, right? Get that quip. Hey, check me out, Brandy McAfee. Got to get this. Got to get to that one. That one
The
stat for
1,000.
for
Hey, now, hey, and we freestyling. I'm letting y'all know right now. If you come on the panel, we freestyling this Friday. So
Right.
no, look, no.
I'm kind of scared to know what that freestyle is gonna be looking like on Friday. It's
She
gonna
got
be
a
like
lot of
it's gonna
followers
be like, hey,
fast.
Brother
Right,
Harris, why did you talk about them balloons being 3 days of darkness?
right,
You
right.
see what happened on Thursday?
Look, there might not be one this Friday. Look, we might be all sitting in the dark for real.
Look,
But
we
yeah,
might
yeah.
wake up in the morning to Russian television.
Oh
Right. Look,
man.
what was that movie? Was it Red Dawn? No, it's not Red
Yeah,
Dawn.
Red Dawn, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. They were in
Yep.
school. Next thing you know, it was getting shot up. I was like, oh snap.
Wolverine.
I often think
Wolverine.
about that movie from time to time, to be honest with you.
Yeah. In light of everything that's happening right now,
Yeah,
it's predictive programming. You know what I
yeah,
mean for what's to
yeah.
come. So, but peace and blessings to all of you. Love you guys. Love everybody. And
Hello.
Love you back.
love you. I'll see you soon. And Emmanuel says
Hallelujah.
bye. My son says bye.
All right.
Bye, Emmanuel.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Adana
Bye.
says bye. Olivia says bye. Okay.
Shalom, Brother Karis. It's Essential Growth. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Shalom, Central Grove.
Okay. I'm gonna be real quick. I'm not judging anyone on their marriage or anything. What I will say is what I didn't care for is that Maria was bought into it, and I respect Maria, and I know that she listens to your channel, and she shout you out a couple of times. So if someone can just issue an apology for bringing her marriage and her personal business into it, I would really appreciate it. Just we have enough strife in our community as it is, and just to be respectful of one another, because she's not on the panel, and for her personal business to be bought into it, that's not cool. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, so I guess that was geared towards me. What I was referring to was her video that she did on her testimony, and I brought up her testimony from her video, which is in public domain. So it's not like it's private because I know her some way, somehow. It's because she put it in the public domain, what the Most High told her, and that she is comfortable with it, and she knows, he
She
knows,
put
and
it in
he's
a
okay with
public
it.
domain, but she's not here to be using it as an example either, or case study. That's all I'm saying. So I get, that's easy to go to, but just having respect as a fellow, as a daughter of Zion, it's just an apology, because she has feelings and she can come on here and she can hear that too. Even if she did a public video, just to have someone come on and critique her isn't cool.
Nobody
Okay.
was critiquing her.
Well, that's
Not
how
at
I
all.
took it, but I'm going to
But
issue an apology on your behalf since you don't want to do it because I still feel like that's not
you
cool. And
took it a different way. What I was using is
I'm
an
not the only one
example.
that I'm not the only one that took it. You
Okay.
were able to go in when you felt like your daughter was offended, but you can't do that for someone else that you spoke on their marriage, and that's not cool. And you might be knowledgeable, but you know them by their fruits. And I'm getting a little zeal in me because I don't feel like that's not right.
Okay, well, let's break this on down. All
Slow
right.
this down a little bit.
What I was making sure that I was defending Maria's position the whole way. Let's not have that. Let's cut out that ambiguity. Number two,
So was I, brother Karis.
brother Asaph was even bringing out the scriptures to defend that point. Okay, there's a testimony for a reason, and shout out to Sister Maya. Um, and we love all of our folks. We support them all. We share a lot. Basically, we share all the subscribers. That's what we do, and we will never have anybody and anyone from Sister E to Sister Holda to Sister Shonda. None of our platforms, whether great or large, small or big, we'll never have anybody be disrespected, especially not on my platform.
Now,
So,
I love Maria. I would never disrespect her. I was using her testimony as an example, not to say she did anything wrong or any of that.
Yeah, no one was condemning her.
Nobody was condemning her.
So help me understand, where does the apology comes into play?
Yeah, because you came up
Because
there kind of
other
Brody.
people, yeah, other people in the chat that may not know the situation or even that she released a testimony. If you're just coming on, it's just like it seems like borderline gossip. So if you don't have a backstory and someone, for example, if they're new and they're just coming in and they don't know the history of someone and or their testimony and you're just talking, you're not giving a backstory, then it can be perceived another way. So if the person's not on the panel where they can give their side or just be like, hey, I released this
Not
testimony, and even if it's
that
my
she was offended
testimony,
by something. Personally said she was offended by
it's
something.
like it's personal business. Yes, that's her testimony, but at the same time, why should someone's testimony be brought up as like a case study at a later point?
well, because here's the thing,
Borderline gossip is.
that was an example of the brokenness that our people have, and this is
Yeah.
another example of the brokenness that our people have. We're
Right.
trying to we're trying to heal. You know what I'm saying? We get offended just to get offended because we're offended. We got to
That's
heal out of
correct.
this. We got to heal out of the spirit of offense.
Yeah, borderline gossip is not exactly correct, because the scriptures were brought in, and my understanding of scripture was completely broken down from the Old Testament, as the church would say, to the New Testament. And that would be the advice that I would give to anyone who is in Torah, of a mixed background, uh, according to scripture.
Yeah, so I'm like, look, that's a blessing. And I said this. That's a blessing to have a spouse who's a Gentile that is what? That is supporting you in this walk. Don't come up here and say, look, I want to make that perfectly clear.
But I
That's
just
a
don't
blessing.
understand how the gossip part comes in, because it was a discussion. I don't think it was gossip.
Right. And it was
And
nothing derogatory. Said it wasn't
Maria calls
anything
herself a
derogatory.
prophetess. Maria calls herself a prophetess.
Well,
All the prophets and the prophetess, their words are written. So if she's a prophetess, then her testimony is very relevant.
Look, Look, there's always going to be some sort of dissension. There's always going to be some sort of,
Yeah, but she's so
you know,
busy checking. She's so busy checking Charlotte. She should have checked herself on her whole attitude the way she came up here. Like you can't just sit up here and just start throwing stuff at people, and then you're guilty of your transgressions. You know what I mean?
So let's just
Transgression.
call it a misunderstanding.
Yes,
Sweetheart, essential growth. If I offended you, if I offended Maria, which I don't believe I did, I apologize. I love you. You're my sister. You're my sister.
I think that apology was more for her than for the actual sister that's supposed to be offended. In all honesty,
exactly.
We don't want strife within the family. It's it's not good. It's what our adversary wants to put amongst us. He wants to divide us. We can't let it happen. Even if, I mean, yeah, I was a little offended because they were misunderstanding my what I was trying to say. So I had to actually go into my Eastward X and like put in a couple of keywords so I can bring up the scriptures that I actually was trying to, verbalize. And at the end, we agree. But this is what this is all about. At sometimes we might not agree, but when we bring the scriptures into it, the scriptures and the Ruach, he leads us into all truth. So I want us all to be on one accord. I don't want us to be, to have strife between us. So essential growth, if I offended you, sweetheart, I am sorry. And that should be able to clear it all up.
We as black people have to really get out of our feelings. Facts over feelings. I
It's
just deal with
hard.
facts. I know
It's
I deal with
hard.
facts, but as soon as you introduce feelings into something, the argument and everything in it goes straight to hell.
It's for females, it's a lot harder than it is for males. Females, we're very emotional, and when we love who we love, and especially with our YouTubers, we love Brother Karis, we love Brother Teo, we love Brother Yakoba, we love Sister E. So when somebody come up against us, it's like you coming up against my family, but we're all family.
Right.
We're all family. So we gotta learn to, you know what? I offended her. She's upset. I'm sorry. I'm going to just say I'm sorry.
I don't
She
know.
says she's in the country. Her phone is breaking up, and so she, had to come off the panel. But I don't want to have any strife with any of our brethren.
The
None.
funny thing is, I was actually getting ready to do this as a lesson tomorrow because the Holy Spirit had brought this up into my heart, and it's like I was gonna say, Israel, we have a communications issue. We have a
Right.
communication problem or a failure to communicate. All right, thank you, Avon Barksdale. Go ahead. Go ahead and get your Marlowe on. Is this
Well,
what type
fam,
of
I'm gonna
conversation?
bow out now, and I'll see you all soon.
All
all right,
right.
my brother, get some rest.
All right.
All
Thank you
right,
for
ASAP.
the ASAP. Shalom.
Yeah, my kids are looking at me because I made meatloaf and it's just sitting there, and they're like, "Can we eat now?" Because I don't like background noise. So I had them in the basement playing. So I'm gonna continue to watch on my TV and say anything in the chat if necessary. But I'm going to leave the panel. Thank you, Brother Karis.
All right.
I
Thank
really
you, Sister
appreciate it.
Charlotte. I
I
appreciate it.
think
Good night, Sister Charlotte.
I
Good
learned
night.
something.
Good night.
We all learned something today. Um, I think patience also is one of the things that we have to learn too. But I really appreciate you allowing us on the panel. Um, good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
All
night.
right. Hallelujah. Oh, all right. Okay. So, I'll let you all do final comments, and then I'm gonna wrap this on up. I really didn't want to be on out here too late, and I gotta definitely address some things in the house.
Mhm.
So I'll start with you, brother Oral, and then brother Dave.
All right, so the writing is on the wall, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, and we just have to. You see, I think this was a valuable lesson for us. This little small spit that came up towards the end, and I love the high road that the sister took, where she could have just continued this defending her position, but instead she decided, you know what? If it's gonna try to alleviate strife, let me just apologize and not cause stress, because a lot of times the people that we love, sometimes when we feel that they're hurt, we get more in our feelings more so than even them. And so that right there is a prime example. As
Right.
far as the balloons and the things that's going on, I think we are in a great time of our lives, and I think it was you, brother Karras, that said once is it's an exciting time in our lives. You know, we get a chance to witness all this. So I mean, we just have to make sure our election is sure and make sure our relationship with the Most High is intact. So when it's time to move, we will get that strong voice in our head that says, "Move left, move right, go here," and so we'll be prepared. So that's what I will say. And thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure chatting with you, my fellow Floridian. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Karis, and all the other wonderful panel members. I thank you. And with all that, I'll just stop.
Thank
All
you,
right, well,
brother Oral.
thank you, brother
Thank you.
Shalom. Brother Dave, final thoughts.
Yeah, I loved it tonight. We discussed a lot of topics. And we need this. We really do need this. This is therapy for so many different people. On so many different levels. So like I said, iron sharpens iron. This is where we put in the work and we get into each other. Hopefully we can heal some of those wounds and hopefully we don't open up new ones. But we have to come together as people. And let me tell you something. I am unapologetic at how I am. My thing is facts over feelings. Feelings will get you in trouble. 30 years in doing security, feelings will get you in trouble. If you come with facts, come with a humble heart, be humble, and talk to your brother or sister how you want to be talked to. That's all I got to say. I love y'all. Love the family. Love the panel. Thank you, Karis. Good night.
All right, thanks, brother Dave. Shalom. All right, family. All right. We are a colorful people. Do you understand? That's what makes us so great. This is why the Most High loves his people. Oh man. And look, we have a lot of growing to do as a people. We surely do. And this is something that's indicative to the growth that we need. We need a lot of growth up here in Babylon. I'm one who needs a lot of growth too. I'm not going to just point fingers at anybody. That's not my style. Because I always point the fingers right back to me. But I also know this. I also know if there's no spiritual opposition, then guess what? I'm not doing something right. Because I'm going to tell you, in this time, the enemy is going to do whatever the enemy can to cause dis- disconcerting and consternation. So, yeah, we got a lot of growing to do. And I know that let's do you not think that the Most High understands what we're going through? They're warned. These principalities are warned in the heavens right now. Don't think that these principalities warned in the heavens that they wouldn't war amongst us. We're the number one targets. Let's continue to keep that clear. And some people are going to be irked, or some people are going to have a misunderstanding. Well, it's because we're human. I'm getting comments of, well, I'm gonna unsubscribe. Okay, I'm not here chasing down subscribers. I'm not here chasing down folks for donations. I'm good. I told you, I'm only here doing what the Most High has told me to do. I'm all right. Because guess what? This thing is wrapping up. And I'm going to be here tomorrow, Most High willing. In the next couple of hours, Most High willing. And we're going to discuss this. There's a lot to discuss. This is why I try to come on 5 days a week. And now I'm coming on a little bit more because why? Because our people are truly in trouble. Yeah, we can have itching ears and talk about all the unidentified things and things of that nature. But man, if we can't even stand to be around our own people, I mean, what good is that? So if people aren't spiritually mature to handle this, okay, go to somewhere else. There are plenty of channels on the camps that will lead you wrong. And who's saying anything about people losing their temper? I'm just giving it to you straight. This is facts. But if we don't have these quarrels, these quarrels are going to be natural. And listen, I'm not stressing about anything. Please don't think that I stressed over this. Look, I turn this thing off and I say, Father, I give you glory. Hallelujah. And I go from there. Good, bad, and different. This is why, look, when we have these discussions, when we talk about, and I knew exactly what I was going to talk about, the Gentile nations. Gentiles, Gentiles, Gentiles. Well, let me tell you, I was married to a Gentile. I know. There they go. People want to subscribe. I was married to one. Let me give you a little bit about my background, especially for all those folks that are new. I was married to a Gentile. I had awoken in 2016. Didn't want to say anything until 2018, 2019. And when I did, that immediately led to my divorce. Immediately. That's why I say, hey, that is a blessing to have been married, understand this truth, and then the Most High allows your spouse to take in that information. Because no, it's not fun. when the Most High gives you this truth. And I'm going to tell you this, I was mad at the Most High for a long time. A long time. A long time. Talking about understanding, I wanted to hurt myself. Had there been, the lollipops, I would have probably gotten like 18 of them. Just and myself and myself there at the clinic. No, I need to be fully lollipopped. But it's a growth process. And the Most High brought me out of that. And sometimes, look, I may not stick to the topic. This is my channel. I'm sorry. If you don't like the topic that we stick to, if you can leave. Ain't nobody. I came on here because guess what? Earlier today, you weren't saying this on Teo's channel at all. Stick to the topic. You want to know how many folks were ranting and raving, going outside the topic? But we had to understand the connection that China has to the continent. We have to understand the resources that are being pulled out of the continent that's being developed by these other nations for the purposes of warfare. You have to understand the sentiment that these other nations have against this nation. So you can see they don't care about the silver or gold, they just want destruction. That leads us to this. You don't get technology unless you find something. Once you find something, it has to be fabricated. Once it's fabricated, it has to be tested. Once it's tested, then guess what? It's introduced into that operations production. And then it's ready for war. Because nobody has a strategic advantage and they just sit on it. No one does. Oh no, you're gonna go to war. But here's the thing. Then when we're out of here, then what are we gonna do? Just sit and fight? We're gonna sit and fight over Gentiles. We're gonna sit and fight over folks that came with us. It's a bigger thing than us. It's a bigger deal than us. Well, you can have that in your heart to offer reprobate. But let me tell you, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Because there's going to be a lot of our people that's going to need a lot of grace. I know we're being overzealous for the Most High. It's good to be zealous for the Most High. It's bad to have that zeal turn into wickedness. Because the most I knew who he was dealing with, we go 0 to 100 in opposite directions. We are literally spiritual toddlers. We all are, as a people. We're spiritual toddlers, as a people. We're just realizing that the Most High has told us not to touch the stove. And don't believe we're not spiritual toddlers? Well, where's the rest of our people? They're still on the ground crying in Eurocentric Christianity. They're still on the ground sleeping. And it's not fighting about Gentiles, it's actually understanding what rulership means. And yes, Windwalker, we killed every leader. That's why I'm real hesitant to call myself a leader of anyone. I'll talk to you people, Father. I'm not trying to lead no one. None of them. Help me, Father. Oh, hallelujah, family. It's getting late. I'm asking the Most High to give me strength for tomorrow and go from there. I know y'all gonna watch the Super Bowl, so enjoy watching the Super Bowl. It's all rigged anyway. Oh, you see? Oh, well, family, Most High willing, I'll be on tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thank you again for all of the folks that had come on to the chat. I opened up the chat. I let the family come on. All right. I will accept all blame and responsibility. Because next time I'm gonna say, look, all the folks that are in this chat is their views and their views alone. And this is not a reflection of Covenant Awakenings. Oh man, oh man. But I'm praying that we had a good time tonight. I'm praying that we covered a lot of things. This is just, if you don't know what it is right now, this is called It's Too Late for the Enemy. This is exactly what it's called. It's too late for the enemy. So all we need to do Let's just give the Most High praise. So here we are, family. Again, I do believe that this is going to be a very interesting break. Very interesting break. Or excuse me, week. Man, I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired. This is gonna be a very interesting week. So, family, let's continue to encourage each other. Let's continue to pray for one another. Let's continue to love one another. Because if you think it's hard now, just wait till we're, just wait till the internet is lacking and things aren't as what we're comfortable with, and oh, just wait for that. So, family, with that, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.